This is Rugby Radio with Stuart Cameron. Brought to you by Borders College.
Well, hello, welcome to Rugby Radio, which comes to you live from INVERLEITH in Edinburgh this afternoon. We're here for the 2 o'clock kick-off between Stuart's-MELVILLE and Berwick at the bottom of Division 2, a vital game for both teams. Plus, of course, at 3 o'clock, full live commentary from Mansfield Park. It's the top-of-the-table clash in the Premiership between Hawick and Marr. So a packed 3.5-hour show again for you now that the clocks have gone back, and we'll keep you up to date with all the other games as they come in, all the score updates between now and the end of the programme. We've actually split the team over the area today, so we've got Robin Purdie and Stuart Johnson at Hawick. Sam Matthews is a mile away from here at Golden Acre for Heriots Blues v Kelso. That game kicks off at 2 o'clock as well. David Ferguson, he's at Philip Hawke for Selkirk against Glasgow Hawks. Andrew Fleming at Riverside Park for Jed Forrest against Currie. And Hugh Brown is here at Inverleith with me for Stuart's-MELVILLE against Berwick. And I think we can go pitch side now and join Hugh. Hello, Hugh, down there.
Good afternoon, Stuart. It's a lovely day here. It really is. The perfect autumn weather. Sun is shining across most of the pitch, apart from the bit covered by the stand. But it is glorious this afternoon. Perfect conditions for this match.
And perfect for open running rugby. Do you think we're going to get that?
I think we will, actually. And do you know, this is actually the largest pitch in the whole of Scotland. It's the widest pitch, and therefore it is good for running rugby. And I think that the backs particularly will be have a good time here. And Berwick will be particularly hoping their backs can do the business, because of course they're sitting currently at the foot of the table.
And of course, we've got you down there at the moment. The microphone's crackling a little bit. We'll try and get the technical stuff sorted out for you in a minute. But the two of them drew at Scremerson the very first day of the season, of course. So very equal sides. The
men from Scremerson really looking to do something today. Of course, Stuart's-MELVILLE got a win last Saturday against Aberdeen Grammar School here at Inverleith. But that was only their second win out of 8. So they too are down the bottom end of the table. And of course, they were docked 3 points for being unable to field a team against Falkirk a few weeks ago as well. So we're looking forward to a good game here. It should be a cracker. And we'll be chatting to the two coaches shortly, Stuart.
Of course, inside the clubhouse at the moment, there's a good lunch going on. In fact, ex-STEWART'S-MELVILLE players that got capped for Scotland 37 years ago. When I say capped, they didn't get capped then. They were playing a Scotland 15 against France. And these, of course, are Simon and Julian Scott, the brothers. And now, 37 years on, this new rule from the SAU has come in, and they've been able to receive those caps. And that's what's happening out in the clubhouse today. We were hoping to have a chat with them actually, but unfortunately we weren't able to do so. They're right in the middle of their lunch at the moment, but great to see the old timers effectively finally get their caps.
Indeed, Stuart, and I did have a wee chat with Simon and Julian just before they went into that lunch to have their prawn cocktail, or their soup as the case may be. And Simon, in fact, has had a hip replacement recently, so he was using a stick, but otherwise fit and well. And they're absolutely delighted. They were saying that they've been awarded these retrospective caps. They played, as you mentioned, for Scotland against France in May 1986 in a game which ended in a 16-all draw. So I suppose you could say that they'd never lost in a Scotland jersey, but they never won in a Scotland jersey either.
That's right. Well, we'll be coming back to you very shortly, because you've been talking to Alex Haggart from STEWART'S-MELVILLE. We're going to try and get someone from Berwick as well very, very shortly. But we'll play a little bit of music. We'll come straight back to you very shortly.
Just a young gun with a quick fuse. I was uptight, wanna let loose. I was dreaming of bigger things and wanna leave my old life behind. Not a yes sir, not a follower. Fit the box, fit the mold, have a seat in the foyer. Take a number. I was lightning before the thunder.
Thunder, 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 thunder,
thunder, feel the thunder. Lightning and the thunder. Thunder, feel the thunder. Lightning and the thunder. Thunder, thunder. Thunder. Kids were laughing in my classes while I was scheming for the masses. Who do you think you are? Dreaming about being a big star. They say you're basic, they say you're easy. You're always riding in the backseat. Now I'm smiling from the stage while you were clapping in the nosebleeds.
Thunder, 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 thunder,
Thunder, feel the thunder. Lightning and the thunder. Thunder, feel the thunder. Lightning and the thunder. Thunder. Thunder, feel the thunder. Lightning and the thunder. Thunder, thunder, feel the thunder. Lightning and the thunder. Thunder, thunder, feel the thunder. Lightning and the thunder. Thunder, thunder, feel the thunder. Lightning and the thunder. Thunder, thunder, feel the thunder. Lightning and the thunder.
Imagine Dragons playing on Rugby Radio all the way through until 5 o'clock today. It's a long programme. Looking forward to it. Stuart's-Melville against Berwick. Berwick, I don't think have arrived actually yet, so they're cutting it a wee bit fine. They left Scremerson about 11 o'clock. We'll be hopefully having a chat with either Colin Young or Paul Pringle very soon. But earlier on, Hugh Brown spoke to the head coach of Stew-Mel, and that's Alex Haggart.
Alex, these games in the bottom end of the table are always vital to win, aren't they? And you've got one against Berwick, who are bottom of the table today.
Yeah, they are. Like, you want to win every game, don't you? So I think irrelevant if you're in a relegation zone, mid-table or top of the league, you're kind of going to want to put some stuff right. So yeah, obviously we want to win. I think we know how to do it. I think we know what we want to do to achieve that. So yeah, we just want to go out and I think probably show the best version of ourselves. We haven't really spoken at all about Berwick this week. It's just been about what we can improve from the game against Grammar last week.
Before last week, you were bottom of the table and you were docked 3 points for not being able to field a team. What happened that day?
So it was a few weeks ago against Falkirk. We've got 15 registered front row players at the club. And we had six out with concussion, and then we had another 7 out injured that weekend, so we genuinely could not field a team. We asked Heriots, who were really good and tried to accommodate us. We asked Ackies, we asked Trinity, we asked Inverleith, who we've got a partnership with. We asked Kirstorfen as well if they had any front row, because East Region wasn't playing at that point. And unfortunately, Falkirk were amazing. They were really accommodating, super helpful, and helped us as much as they possibly could, because the two guys there, Stevie, their coach, and Bill, their president, are good rugby people. But unfortunately, SRU had deemed that we hadn't done enough to try and fulfil the fixture. So we were docked 3 points off the back of that, despite providing the evidence that we did. So it was a bit frustrating, but look, it's done. We had the opportunity to appeal. We didn't really think there was much use in it, to be honest, because I think they'd kind of made their decision. So we were at peace with that, but it's also been a nice shot for us, because it's kind of, you don't want to say this, but it kind of us against the world mentality a wee bit over the last few weeks, which has been quite effective on the pitch.
The book is too inflexible then, or is the rule book there because it's rules?
I think there's probably a combination of the two. My big thing, and I think the thing that I would really like to say is that, I think Scotland actually has really good player welfare rules. Technically, if you're concussed and you've shown the symptoms, and the if in doubt sit them out policy, you're out for 21 days, and that's the bottom line. And we had 2 guys who were if in doubt sit them out by the ref, and they deemed to be concussion, which I thought was amazing. But I think the championship rules are what they are, and we're not disputing it, in the sense that you have to have front row to play. Okay. But from my point of view, you know, we need to probably wake up a wee bit and realise that there is a shortage of front rowers. And across the country, not just us, across the country, and we maybe need to mitigate for that and be a little bit more flexible in that sense. And I think we probably need to align our championship rules with our player welfare rules a little bit more. But look, you know, I don't feel hard done by. I don't feel like the world's against us too much, to be honest. Like, it is what it is. You know, they've come back with the response, and all we can do is control what's on the pitch. We can't control injuries.
Now, you beat Aberdeen Grammar School here last Saturday, so the boys will be up for this one today.
Yeah, I think so. You know, the game against Grammar, we did some really good stuff. We let them back into the game. We did some silly stuff. But overall, you know, a win's a win. And we were pretty delighted with that. And the atmosphere at training's been very different this week again because we had a win. We're building a bit of momentum. So I think for us, today has all been about building momentum for us and putting pressure on other people.
This is Rugby Radio. Rugby Radio.
If you're looking to develop or hone your green skills, look no further than Borders College, your local community college. Visit borderscollege.ac.uk today. Borders College, regionally focused, globally engaged.
Based in Galashiels but covering the whole region and beyond, Borders Mortgage Hub is your one-stop shop for all things mortgage related in the Borders. Visit us at bordersmortgagehub.com or call us on 01896 807 008. That's 01896 807 008. Borders Mortgage Hub. Mortgages for the Borders in the Borders.
Borders water, Borders barley and Borders people. That's what makes the Borders Distillery. Working exclusively with local farmers, the Borders Distillery is bringing whiskey making back to the region. Our award-winning distillery is open to everyone, where you can meet the people behind the scenes, explore our wash house and shop quality local products. Tour your local distillery and discover the spirit of the Borders. Full details at thebordersdistillery.com. Always enjoy our spirit responsibly. Under 18s must be accompanied by an adult when visiting the Borders Distillery.
Your pet deserves the best, and that's why your pet deserves the care and treatment offered by Border Vets. We focus on delivering the very best care to each and every one of our patients and clients. We get to know you and your pet and offer treatments tailored to every animal's individual needs, from our conveniently located surgeries in Galashiels, Selkirk and Earlston. Ask about our Pet Health Club for your cat or dog, giving you peace of mind by spreading the cost of vaccinations, regular checks and more. From dental care to travelling abroad and the whole range of veterinary services, bordervets.co.uk is where you'll find everything you need to know. Border Vets, where your pets are part of our family.
This is Rugby Radio, brought to you by Borders College.
Yes, live from Inverleith today, and of course later on at 3 o'clock we'll be going down, should I say, to Mansfield Park in Hawick for the big top of the table clash in the Premiership, and that's Hawick and Marr, first against second, only 1 point separating the two sides, and of course Marr beat Hawick, ended their long unbeaten record. It was quite an extraordinary match at Fullerton Park. I think it ended about 24 points to 8, something like that. So Hawick out for revenge today, and in fact earlier in the day Robin Purdie, our commentator for today, he caught up with Graham Hogg, who is the backs coach at Hawick, and had a little chat with him.
So, Graham, first against second in the Premiership. It doesn't really get any bigger than this.
No, it's going to be a good day, isn't it? It is going to be a good day. We're looking forward to it. It's been a long time coming for us, if we're being honest. That first game up at Marr, second game of the season, was, make no bones about it, it's very disappointing for us. The end of a losing run. Honestly, call probably one of the best things that's happened to us this season is getting beat there, but yeah, we're certainly looking forward to it today.
And as a squad, as coaching staff, do you do anything differently in the week leading up to a game like this, or, a game of this magnitude, if you like?
We don't need to do very much. We certainly don't. We've obviously looked at some tactical things that we think can obviously work against Marr. And also making sure that our performance is going to be bang on in terms of little things that we've picked up over the last couple of weeks. But no, it's games of this magnitude at this level. We don't need to big the boys up. As I say, there's a lot riding on it. First v second, and obviously what happened second game of the season. Yeah, and
I was going to mention that. Looking back at your loss against Marr at Fullerton in September, in a funny sort of way, might that loss have been, or you touched upon it, might the loss have been a good thing, obviously, to get that monkey off the back and reset? Was the whole in inverted commas, unbeaten thing starting to become a bit of a burden, a bit of added pressure that you didn't need?
I think, yes, absolutely it was. We set targets out at the start of the season. It goes without saying we want to be top 2. We want to get into that playoff system, and we want to retain our title and our cup from last year. Nowhere in there does it say going unbeaten. We understood that the challenge this year was going to be so much bigger, and yes, the pressure cooker, it was starting to build on boys. Every Tuesday, Thursday, it was just getting more and more and more. And as I say, I think after that game, we obviously had some pretty frank chats in terms of where we go next. Wasn't the end of the world, as I've already alluded to.
Yeah.
It probably helped us, but no, it's been a much better environment since then, and we're just kicking on. As I say, the games that we've won since then goes to show exactly what we're about.
And one of those games last weekend against Glasgow Hawks, you must have been thrilled with the level of efficiency and almost professionalism, if you like, that the boys showed. Balgary's not an easy place to go.
No, and it was one of the games that we'd had a look at, and it was going to be a difficult one to start the second round of games. But I think that's the word that we used, the professionalism in terms of going up there and getting the job done. We put some things in place that we thought would really work against Hawks, and the boys fronted up and done that. That's all we can ask of them. 5 points on the road with that performance for probably 65 out of the 80 minutes was outstanding, and we're really happy, and hopefully we take it on to today and the rest of the season.
And it's looking like your big players are returning big performances at the moment. The likes of Andrew Mitchell, Kirk Ford, Jay Linton, Callum Rennick, Sean Muir, they were all outstanding last week.
Yeah. Quite a few good players when you say that, isn't there? They're good.
Yeah.
No, and I think if you look at, I'm obviously from more of an attacking backs point of view, and Andrew Mitchell for me is playing some of the best rugby he's played since I've been at the club the last 2 years. He is a massive part of what we do down here. We've got him back enjoying rugby. We've got him enjoying the environment. We know how good this boy can be, and I don't think we've seen how good yet, but we're getting back to him enjoying the game, as I say, and coming through. And then when you've got the experience up front, the likes of your Seans, your Daltons, Fraser Rennick's obviously injured today, we bring Russell Anderson in, and we bring Ross Graham back. We've got an array of talent in there who are very good boys, who are all good mates, and we're all working together.
And one of the less experienced men in the squad, Ben Scott, he made his debut last week up at Hawks, and he's maintained his place in the squad this weekend. Give us a little bit about him, maybe our listeners, if you like, are less familiar with him.
Yeah, Ben Scott, when I first came into the roles down here in terms of the development side, I watched it. One of the first days I was involved, I actually think I was working for Borders Radio at the time, was Ben Scott played in our Hawick Sevens, and then unfortunately 2 weeks later, the first game of the season, he got an ACL injury, so he's basically missed he's missed 2 full seasons of rugby. Now, without putting pressure on Ben, he was an outstanding youth player coming through. When I seen him down here at Hawick Sevens, I'd be honest, I hadn't seen a massive amount of him. I'd heard a lot, and he was outstanding that day. We've just not had his services for the last 2 years, but he works very hard. I know he does a fair bit of chatting and a fair bit of work with Kev Reid. He wants to be a student of the game, he wants to learn, he wants to do more, and he's certainly got a bright future down here.
Well, we'll look forward to seeing him today, as we will with all the Hawick players. All the very best today.
Good man, thank you.
There we are. That was Graham Hogg, backs coach, and of course not a bad player in his time as well. Scotland Sevens capped international, and representing Hawick there. We'll get the Marr perspective a little bit later on the programme. That game kicking off at 3 o'clock. But kicking off at 2 o'clock this afternoon is Heriot's Blues against Kelso at Golden Acre. Less than a mile away is Sam Matthews.
That is right, Stuart. It is golden hour at Golden Acre as Heriot's look to snap their 3-game losing streak. The visitors Kelso, though, will definitely have their own agenda after that thumping home performance last week, beating Musselburgh 45 points to 12 at Poynter Park. This game will really shape the team's statements in the league for the second half, as they currently sit 6th and 7th in the table respectively, with Heriot's 2 points to the good against their rivals this afternoon. Saying that, though, if Kelso can get that win, that will really cement them, putting them in 6th, and that will give them at the very most 3 points clear at the top. Saying that, though, as you discussed on the preview show, Heriots have been away from home for quite a while now. Their last home tie being over a month ago when they welcomed Selkirk here, which they did get a win in, and you can see it by their warm-ups this afternoon and the fans. They are desperate for a home performance, but most importantly a win, so it's all to play for this afternoon here at Golden Acre. Kick-off is at 2 p.m.
It's going to be a good one, isn't it? Can't wait for that. As I was saying, just about see Golden Acre from here, from our vantage point at the back of the stand at Inverleith. Well, Paul Pringle, who's the forwards coach of Berwick, he's been limbering the guys up back of the stand. Berwick performing against Stuart's-Melville, kicking off at 2 o'clock very, very shortly. We can go pitch side now, and Hugh Brown is talking to Paul.
Paul, welcome to Inverleith. Now, of course, the lads have gone close, but not gone over the line yet. You've had one draw, which was against Stuart's-Melville, and 7 losses.
Yeah, very much a season of the nearly men, Hugh. So we've had opportunities, we've not taken them. Really, the key for me though is really, are we going to learn from the mistakes? And really, we need to just get the show going. So it's getting one of those over the line, and then I'm pretty confident the guys will kick on from there.
It's a vital match against a team also in the relegation zone, Stuart's-Melville, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, we target every match. I mean, it's easy to build these ones into, it's a huge pressure match and all that sort of thing. I think we had a bit of a reset last week where we're telling the guys, look, we want to see you playing with smiles on the faces, enjoying it. It's an amateur game. They need to be getting something back out of it. We did notice a marked improvement last week on that. We then good week's training. So yeah, this is another game for us. I mean, yeah, you can build it into whatever it may be, but we're targeting winning every game, and this is just another step on that road.
Can I ask a difficult question? What's gone wrong at Berwick? Because you've played well against some of the top teams. It just hasn't quite clicked.
Yeah, I mean, the easy answer would be to say, those kind of 3 experienced heads we lost. So we lost Ewan Thompson, James Thompson and Rory Hindhoff. Probably the 2 in the backs probably hurt us most. We've been really fortunate today actually, so we have a really good relationship with Kelso, and we have a setup where if any of the lads are dropping out of their ones, that we'll try and accommodate them. So James isn't actually involved with Kelso ones today, so we've got him at centre, and he'll slot right back in, and I think he'll add that voice which should hopefully make a big difference. Now,
you drew with Stuart's-Melville, as we said, in the first game of the season down at Scremerson. What are your tactics today to beat them here at Inverleith?
Yeah, I mean, we always target probably in the pack. We know we're strong in the pack, and we'll look to dominate there. We've been working on a few things this week to counter what they probably do. But really, I prefer to focus on getting our game right. If we get it right and we play the brand of rugby that we know we're capable of, instead of just in 5-minute spurts, that we actually do it for 20-30 minutes sustained pressure, the game will look after itself, and I think that's the key point, is just keeping that performance and trying to sustain it for longer periods of time.
I was saying earlier, this is actually the largest pitch in Scottish rugby, so very wide. That should suit your back, shouldn't it?
Yeah, well, I mean, we've probably been more forward orientated this season, but saying that, the forwards love to carry, they love to get in behind teams, they like to pop up all over the pitch, so actually, yeah, I think it will suit us. Certainly the guys look to, appear in the centres, taking these high and low balls and going through it back. So, yeah, if we can't play here, then, we can't play anywhere, really.
You've mentioned already you've got James Thompson back. How important is that for you?
Oh, it's massive. Just even this week in training, it's the voice, he adds a bit of calm there. James is an experienced player. He's a very good player, obviously, but with his move. It's just great to have him back and just have that voice there. Even in the warm-up, you can hear him kind of chirping away at the lads. But, there's good noise and there's bad noise. But with James, it's all that good noise. Everything he says, the players are taking in. And I think it'll just give us that bit of, a little bit of confidence out there, which hopefully will come into the game.
Optimistic about getting a victory then?
Yeah, I'm always optimistic, which has made for a long season so far. But no, Colin, we know what the boys are capable of. But it's all right, us saying it. It's the guys need to put the work on the paddock. So we'll see what comes off today.
Any other team news you need to tell us about?
No, that's it. I think we're pretty much at full strength. So yeah, no excuses. If we lose, it's on us, and we know we need to build for next week. But yeah, that's certainly not in the mind today.
I mean, I've watched Berwick a number of times over the years, and one of the things about your team is you're always very exciting to watch, and you don't. There's no give. You are 100% all the time.
Yeah, to me that's what boys enjoy. We ask the guys what kind of rugby do they like to play. They like to play an open brand of rugby. They want to, sometimes force those 50-50s. Sometimes when you're in the lower half of the league, they don't come off for you. When you're riding high and you're getting victories, they do. So we'll just see. But I would hate to stifle their ambition. I would hate to say to them, we need to go into dare I say it, a kind of an England approach to rugby of just kicking and chasing, so no, we'll continue to play the way we are, and we'll see what comes of it.
I remember at Pennypit Park on that very windy day last game of the season, you had to win, and it was such so tense, that game. You don't want to be there again this season.
No, definitely not. I don't think my heart could take that one again. Look, our aim is to get today done. We've got a couple of other fixtures that we're targeting, and then we'll just keep moving forward, and we'll see where it ends up.
And you want to get off the bottom of that league?
Oh, without a doubt. Yeah, that doesn't make for great. every Sunday morning, it's the first thing that puts me in full fettle when you pick up and you see that. So yeah, I'd like to get that changed as quickly as possible.
Paul, we wish you and the lads all the best. It should be a really good game this afternoon against Stuart's-MELVILLE. Let's hope you get the result.
Thanks, Hugh, and thanks for your support.
There you are, Hugh Brown, and Hugh's going to be sorting out the numbers and the teams and making sure that the wingers wear the right numbers and the second rows do it as well. And we'll be joining him a little bit later on. That's good to hear Paul Pringle and Fine Fettle when that game kicking off in about 4 minutes' time. Now, over in Glasgow, GHA are taking on Gala in Division 1. We can hear now from Gala Director of Rugby, Ewan Swinton.
That will be a really challenging game. GHA have lost a couple in the spin, but they are a strong outfit, and I think it's quite normal that the Glasgow sides perform that wee bit better through in their own territories. So we are expecting a really hard game, and to an extent it's almost a free hit in the sense that many will be expecting us to struggle up there, but that's certainly not how we'll see it. We're confident. The shape is really coming into the game. We are due an away win. There's no reason why it shouldn't come on Saturday. We have the defence, the attacking side of things starting to come through really well, and the defensive aspects of the game, the way that we're covering the pitch, the way that we're protecting our territory is fantastically improved. We'll expect to front up in the forwards. As I've said before, the front five are certainly much stronger and more solid than they were in the start of the season, and the back row are getting lots of chances to run, link with the backs and make things happen. So it'll be tough through at GHA, but I think that there's a more than fair chance that we'll come out of the game with something. I would hope for a win. I won't be surprised if we win, but what we'll look for is an ever-improving performance and take things forward into the second half of the season really strongly.
Always good to hear from Ewan Swinton, very positive Director of Rugby at Gala. Now, another match with a 2 o'clock kick-off is an important one in National 2. Gordonians versus Peebles. Both have had good first halves of the season. Peebles beat Gordonians at the Gites, but now it's Gordonians' chance to exact revenge. Here's Peebles head coach Graham Patterson.
Gordonians have done really well. I mean, they came down to us, first game of the season. Good game of rugby from both sides. And we prevailed there, denied him anything from the game, which is great. But since then, they've really put some good performances in, got some good results, and are up there challenging alongside ourselves, Falkirk and Lasswade and Newton Stewart. So we know that this is going to be a tough game. Going up to Aberdeen is always tough. The journey, it's always talked about. It's no excuse for me. The players need to just deal with it and then mentally get ready for that game as soon as they arrive. So we've looked at these areas of the breakdown. We've looked at how to exploit chances that we're given. We know that there's going to be fewer chances probably than we had against Kirkcaldy. So we need to be really clinical in terms of putting these chances away, which we were pretty good on Saturday, but we talked about it and the guys felt they left 2 or 3 tries out there. So it's about turning that 2 or 3 into maybe just 1. I anticipate it being a very, very close game. So our attacking threats are starting to really push to the fore. It's not just a drive and maul, it's not just pick and goes. It's that aligned with half-back threats, kicking threats and wider threats aligned to counter-attacking as well. Davy Collins has been instrumental in sort of reigniting our counter-attack. From deep, he's really put himself forward in these last couple of games that he's played in. As you'd expect with a couple of wins, we're not going to be changing the squad much at all, and in fact the only change is an enforced one with Willie Aitken being unavailable, so Neil Hogarth comes back in, and being a previous captain from the previous year, he brings that experience as well and leadership skills, which will help in these difficult situations and difficult games that we're going to face, especially this Saturday up at Gordonians. So looking forward to the long trip up to Aberdeen, and hopefully a nice trip on the way back down as well.
And also in Division 2, Stirling County take on Aberdeen, a game which could well have consequences at the bottom of the table. Here's Stirling boss Craig Deacons.
We can't be gifting teams easy scores. It's a bit of a common theme at the moment, conceding soft tries off nothing really. It's not as even as consistent pressure from the opposition. These unforced errors that we're doing, we really need to make sure we're reducing them. Because we turn it over, but we are scoring points. We're scoring more than enough points, I believe, to be winning games. But it's our defence at the moment that's really leaking some tries. There's a couple of changes to our team this weekend against Aberdeen. Mickey Keston, our 17-year-old tight head prop, who's played out absolutely outstanding for the last couple of weeks, is going back down to play for our under-18s in the cup game against GHA. But George Radcliffe's coming back in from injury, so he'll be shoring up the tight head spot for us this weekend, which is really good. There might be a couple of other changes in the backs. We're just looking at some injury protocol stuff at the moment and see how these guys are going to pull through. However, it should be pretty much a consistent team from the team that went out against Newton Stewart the week before. Looking at the Aberdeen game this weekend, they're a team that's below us in the table. We need to make sure come the end of the game on Saturday that they're below us. These basement battles, we need to make sure we're coming out on top of them ones. It is really frustrating at the moment because we've played Lasswade and Newton Stewart. These teams are picking up some good points. So Lasswade sitting second in the table. These games, for me, they're all winnable. The Falkirk game 3 weeks ago was winnable, and we just didn't fire enough shots. We're conceding some soft, silly tries, and the message from our players at the moment is, if we can stop these silly tries that we're conceding, we're really going to be challenging, and especially in this league. The teams we've seen now, we've met this is at the halfway mark. Everyone we've played, bar maybe a couple of teams that I would probably say were a lot better than us. Every team is pretty much able to beat everyone on this table. So I think it's going to be a really exciting second half to the season. No weeks are easy games. Like Aberdeen coming down this weekend, they're a team that I know they've only won once this season so far, but that means absolutely nothing. They're going to be coming down here fighting for their lives. They'll be wanting to pull us into the basement battle more. We want to obviously stretch away. So as I say, come the end of the game on Saturday, as long as we've got the win this weekend, I'm going to be happy.
Craig Deacons, head coach of Stirling County, definitely in need of a few points this afternoon. Well, they've just kicked off here, Berwick against Stuart's-Melville. Beautiful sunshine, nice crisp day today. No score, they've just had a minute's silence, so literally have just kicked off. We'll be joining Hugh Brown very, very shortly for an update and the latest team news. But let's tell you what's happening throughout the country today in the Premiership. It's Hawick against Marr, that's a 3 o'clock kick-off. Herita's Blues versus Kelso, that's just kicked off 2 o'clock at Golden Acre. The other 3 matches all at 3 o'clock. That's Jed Forest against Curry, Musselburgh against Embrackis, and Selkirk against Glasgow Hawks. And don't forget live coverage of Hawick against Marr. That's happening a little bit later on when we join Robin Purdie and Stuart Johnson in the commentary box. National 1, Ayr against Biggar. That's kicking off at 3 o'clock today. Dundee v Glasgow Accies and GHA v Gala, both 2 o'clock kickoffs. And then GHK v Melrose, Watsonians against Highland, both kicking off at 3 o'clock today. National 2, Falkirk v Newton Stewart, that's going to be a big match. First against fifth. Gordonians v Peebles, Lasswade against Kirkcaldy, Stewmel against Berwick, and Stirling County against Aberdeen Grammar. In National 3, it's Boroughmuir v Dumfries, Hamilton against Howe of Fife, Hillhead Jordanhill v Allen Glens, Orkney against West of Scotland, Orkney unbeaten this season, and Preston Lodge, top of the table against Cartha Queen's Park, down in 8th place. And finally in Division 4, Dunfermline v North Berwick, Perthshire against Murrayfield Wanderers, Ross High against Garnacourt, unbeaten at the top of the table, bonus point in every single game so far, Strathmore against Stewartry, and White Craigs against Greenock Wanderers. 2:07 is the time, and 2 early scores we have for you at the moment in the Premiership just down the road. Herita's Blues against Kelso, it's Herita's Blues 7, Kelso 0. Harry Hitchens try literally in the first minute, and Howe of Fife have taken the lead at Hamilton. It's 7-0. 4th against 10th. Hamilton still without a win this season. Also without a win this season is Berwick. No score at the moment. They've played 5 minutes. Well, earlier this week I caught up with Murray Watson from Hawick Rugby Club. He's put together, with Ian Landels, a wonderful book on the 150th anniversary of Hawick Rugby Club. They've got their big dinner happening next Friday on the pitch at Mansfield Park in a big marquee. But I first asked Murray how the project actually started.
The book is essentially about rugby, about what has made Hawick such a consistently successful club. But it's more than that. It's about a community. It's about a town. It's about people, it's about friendship, it's about passion, the way people feel about rugby, the way they feel about human life, and the way that they feel about Hawick, the town, and the rugby club.
And where do you begin on a project like this?
Well, we decided that we wanted to interview people, then along came the pandemic. And rather than let that defeat us, it was actually a benefit, because we were able to use Zoom technology to conduct oral history interviews with people anywhere in the world. And we interviewed people like Colin Deans in Northamptonshire, Craig Dunlea in New Zealand, Rob Naylor in Canada. So we were able to get access to people that we probably wouldn't have done if it hadn't been for the pandemic. And the fact that we could interview people was that we took their views, and then we provided a written transcript and checked out that they were happy with the accuracy of what they said. And then we used that material to edit it in a way that made for a palatable read. People do not talk in sentences, and so we needed a certain degree of editing to make the book readable and interesting to people. But the topics that they talked about, we could not fail, because it was a fascinating range of different stories about the pitch, about preparing for the rugby, about volunteering, about going away supporting the club. We go back quite a long way, because we've actually managed to find a report, a contemporary report written of the very first rugby match that Hawick ever played in. And so we have covered the whole 150 years in the book.
And it really is a homegrown effort, isn't it? It was published in Hawick. There's people involved in the borders at every single stage.
It was printed by Richardson and Lockhart, and they've done an excellent job. We've also got quite a number of photographs in the book taken by a range of people in the club. And we decided that we didn't want to show the traditional team photograph of team after team after team. And we've actually got supporters shoveling snow off the pitch, and the medics treating an injured player on the side of the pitch, because that's what rugby is about. Rugby is about more than just playing and more than just about training. There's an army of volunteers that support what the club do to make it successful. So it's yes, there are consistencies in what people have said. People talk about the feeling, the pride of wearing the green jersey and being from Hawick, and largely being a Hawick club. We actually did some research into family connections with the Hawick, and although it was difficult to get information from before the Second World War, we have found 9 families since the Second World War that have had father, son and grandson playing for Hawick. We have 9 sets of brothers playing for Hawick in that same period. How many other rugby clubs in the world would be able to claim those sort of connections?
And it's this sort of research which makes the book outstanding.
We had different methodological approaches, because Ian's approach is to ask specific questions. My approach was to start with an open-ended question. Please tell us your memories of Hawick and rugby. Now, we were not telling the person what we want him to talk about. It was their view. It was them that wanted to, the subjects and themes that they wanted to talk about. So we have got the highs, we have got the lows. We have people talking about the financial difficulties that the club faced when the game went professional. And arguably, one of the greatest successes Hawick have actually had is overcoming those financial difficulties and returning to the top of Scottish rugby.
And we shall hear more from Murray Watson very, very soon and give you some score updates. Still 0-0 here between Berwick and Stuarts-Melville. It's taking place at Inverleith, in fact. I don't know if we can go down pitch side to Hugh Brown, who's there at the moment. Where are things going down there?
Yes, we've had no points, you said, on the board so far, but it hasn't been for lack of excitement, that's for sure. Both teams really pushing hard to get that first score on the board. Best chance for Berwick fell in about 6 minutes. The kick forward by Jack Webster, which just wasn't quite caught by Jack Dalrymple and went into touch. So no score at the moment, but I don't think it'll be too long before we get points on the board. I suspect this is going to be a pretty close match between these two lower half of the league teams in National League Division 2. Of course, Berwick sitting rock bottom, Stuarts-Melville third from bottom at the moment, but at the moment it is 0-0.
Hugh Brown, who's down there about 50 metres from me on the touchline. A very competitive game at the moment, and a penalty in fact to Stu Mel, so we might even have the first points on the board. It's a very kickable penalty and he is in fact going for that, so stay with us. We'll let you know if he gets that one over. We can tell you that Gala have taken the lead at GHA. This is going to be a tough ask for them at Braidholme. Braidholme was the place that Highland lost, of course, their only loss of the season so far. Gala, a good start for them, 7 points to 0. Hamilton have pulled one back against Howe Fife. It's 7-all there, a trying conversion each. That's in National 3. And Heriots Blues 7, Kelso 0. Will join Sam Matthews for an update very, very shortly. I can tell you that Stirling have taken the lead against Aberdeen Grammar, and Stewmel have taken the lead here, so confirmed a penalty. Stewmel 3, Berwick 0. Stage playing on Rugby Radio, and we're going to do Hawick now. Marr against Hawick, of course, the big match coming up at 3 o'clock. We can go there right now and talk to Robin Purdie, who's got Kevin Diffenthal with him.
This is a top of the table clash. The weather's pretty good for the time of year. You know, Mansfield in November can look and feel very different to this. So do you feel that these good conditions here today could suit you guys?
Yeah, definitely, I think so. It's actually a great day for rugby. Wee bit of a chill in the air, nice and dry, no wind. So yeah, thinking about a really expensive game. So.
And you mentioned in the Offside Lines preview this week that you weren't overly pleased with the defensive side of things last week. So what was the issue, and what's been done to rectify it today against the side that, you know, if we're being honest, are better than last week's opponents?
Yes, 100%. I mean, they're obviously top of the table, so they're definitely going to be better. We've worked really hard at just tightening up our defence and working in the areas, slipping off tackles, etc., and being a bit more aggressive in the tackle area. Last week we were slipping off too many tackles, and then the secondary tackler not joining in. So we've worked really hard on that this week to try and tighten that up.
And I spoke to Matty about some of Hawick's top performers when I spoke to him, and there's certainly some high level operators in the Marr ranks as well. You know, for example, the Bickerstaff brothers appear to be in fine form at the moment.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, they are obviously stalwarts for the club, and they're putting in performances week in and week out, and getting backed up by the boys around them. So the guys feed off that, so it's really good.
Yeah, and Blair Jardin's another. I mean, he's just Blair Jardin, so consistent week in, week out. His clash with Jay Linton today is sure to be a great subplot.
100%. I mean, two guys that are playing really good rugby at the moment, so looking forward to see how the two of them go.
And looking at selection, you've brought Callum Ingalls in for Greg Montgomery at fullback. What was the thinking with that one, and what does Callum bring to the party today?
Callum is just a bit younger and there's a bit more energy in him. He's had two really good showings off the bench the last 2 weeks, so deserves a shot. The game we want to play today obviously suits him just a little bit, and Monty's just a little bit out of form, so he'll be coming on to see out the game anyway. So
yeah. And you guys, you know, you've had some real ding-dongs in recent times with Hawick. You're actually the only team to have beaten them, I think, since February 2022, and indeed you've beaten them 3 times in that period. So what does it actually take to beat them, and what extra will it take to beat them here as opposed to at Fullerton?
Oh, it's going to be a monumental effort from the full squad of 20 boys. Everybody's going to have to put a shift in. And I think it's really important to stop them at source, because once they get their big lads rolling, that's quite a tough team to try and stop.
And you'll be here today in pretty good fettle after last week's win, getting back on the horse with a decent 5-pointer after the bump in the road the previous week.
100%, yeah, disappointing in Musselburgh, but fair play to Musselburgh. They brought it on the day, and we were a little bit off the mark. Great reaction by the lads last week, which is pleasing to see.
Well, Kenny, thank you very much for joining us, like I say, and all the best this afternoon.
Fantastic, thanks very much.
Robin, whilst you're there, let's have a little chat about the match. Do we have any team news in yet?
Callum Ingalls comes in for Greg Montgomery. That's a change in the ranks for Marr, and there's only one change for Hawick this week. Morgan Tate, he's broken his hand, I believe, so he's out on the wing, but then in comes Ronan McKean, and onto the bench comes Glenn Wells. So pretty consistent all in all from both teams.
Well, we saw Hawick last week, of course, at Glasgow Hawks at Balgray, and they certainly put in a very confident and clinical performance, and you know, it was just good to hear Graham Hogg really looking forward to this one.
Yeah, and why not? You're absolutely right, Stuart. They were really, really impressive last week at what is a tricky place to go, and as I've said before, you know, the Mars and Curries of this world would have been looking at that and hoping, you know, with one eye on a Hawick slip-up potentially, but absolutely none of it. They were super efficient, super clinical. They used their possession and territory really well, particularly in the first half, and yeah, they look like a champion team.
Now, of course, Marr got back to winning ways last week at home to Heriots Blues, getting revenge on the team that beat them early in the season. Clearly, Hawick want to turn over Marr and deal out their own slice of revenge for taking that long unbeaten record.
Oh, absolutely. You know, revenge is in the air this afternoon, and even, you know, Sean mentioned it was almost the first thing he said after Sean Muir after the game last week. You know, one eye onto this now, and he openly said that he feels they've got a score to settle against Marr. They weren't themselves, as they've put it, down at Fullerton earlier in the season, and yeah, they'll definitely be looking to put that right this afternoon. And as I said to Kenny, their conditions here are absolutely fantastic. It's almost sunny, there's not a breath of wind, the pitch looks in great condition, and you wonder who that suits more this afternoon, but I'm sure we're in for a great game regardless.
I'm sure we are. We'll be rejoining you a little bit later on, about 5 to 3 for that game. Don't forget, full commentary coming up, Hawick against Marr at Mansfield Park, and Hawick haven't been beaten there since October 2019 when Glasgow Hawks beat them by 10 points to 6. In fact, the previous week to that one, Marr actually turned Hawick over quite considerably, but that was a long time ago. Different situation right now. We've had further scores here at Inverleith. Inverleith. We'll go join Hugh Brown very, very shortly. But first, let's nip over to Golden Acre, just a mile away. Sam Matthews.
10 minutes gone here at Golden Acre, and the score currently sits at the home side. Heriots 7, Kelso 0. A try from Harry Hitchens, number 11, the winger for Heriots Blues. Pretty much off the first 4 phases of play, the ball went out for a line out. Heriots won the ball back, cycled it through the hands, a quick gubber through, and then a nice offload sent Harry under the posts. That was then converted by Kenta Kutsuna. Score Heriots 7, Kelso 0.
Okay, here at Inverleith, Hugh Brown.
2 penalties now by Jamie Kane separates the teams. Stuart's-Melville leading by 6 points to 0 and have the upper hand at the moment over Berwick, but it's not through lack of trying for the men from Scremerston. They have pushed and pushed just about all the way, but haven't quite been able to make it over the try line for Stuart's-Melville. But it's 6-0 here. Interesting, Colin Young, the head coach of Berwick, is running the line on the stand side here this afternoon at Inverleith. And actually, you might not know this, but this was the first purpose-built international stadium in the world, providing the venue for Scotland's home games between 1899 and 1925. And they played matches between New Zealand and France during that time. So has a huge history, this stadium. As I mentioned, massive big pitch for the 2 teams this afternoon. Good grade of rugby being played so far, but at the moment 2 penalties separate the team. It's Stuart's-Melville 6, Berwick 0.
Hugh Brown watching right in front of me this game, which hasn't really kind of taken off yet, but Berwick certainly given as good as they are getting. Some latest scores, and Kelso have scored a try. Terry Logan has gone over, unconverted try, so it's Heriots Blues 7, Kelso 5. That's the only 2 o'clock kick-off in the Premiership for today. GHA 7, Gala 7 is a latest score in National 1. National 2, Falkirk 8, Newton Stewart 6, tight one in National 2 there. Stewmel 6, Berwick 0 here, and Stirling County have got another converted try. Stirling County 14, Aberdeen Grammar 0. Don't forget Aberdeen Grammar very much in a dogfight along with Stuart's-Melville and Berwick at the bottom of National 2. Boroughmuir have got a good start, 3 tries for them, 15 points to 0 against Dumfries. Dumfries who got a bit of a pasting last week at Preston Lodge, 89-0 it was then. Hamilton Blues have scored a converted try at home to Howe Fife. It's 7-7 in that one so far, and we're just hearing Heriots Blues have extended their lead. Heriots Blues 14, Kelso 5, another converted try for them. Dumfries have got one back against Boroughmuir, 15-5 in that one, and Gala have just kicked a penalty. GHA 7, Gala 10 in that one. That brings us totally up to date at the moment. 25 minutes gone here at Inverleith. Now let's go back to my chat with Murray Watson about the wonderful new book devoted to Hawick Rugby Club's 150th anniversary that he's put together with Ian Landels, who's the president of the club. It really has been a labour of love, hasn't it?
Oh yes, I mean, I feel extraordinarily privileged to have been asked to get involved in this, and it's allowed me to get to know and talk to rugby players and volunteers and officials, and to get to know people like Andy Irvine, who told me about his first game at Hawick on a very snowy end of year's game when he was taking a conversion from the touchline, and some little boys from Hawick started pelting him with snowballs.
But it really is a fascinating book with so many stories, and there's so many layers to this book as well, and it really is a hefty publication which is going to be around for a long time, but there's only 1,000 limited copies. I'm sure they're going to be snapped up.
Well, I'd like to think so. We've had a really good response to our launch announcement, and I think it is a hefty book, but it's been written and it's voices from 170 different people, and everybody is different. They're human beings. I mean, I had expectations when I interviewed Rory Sutherland, the Hawick and British Lions prop, that he would be, tough and really hard. But it turned out completely differently. He was a very sensitive, caring family man, and he's had a lot of difficulties in his rugby career, with injuries, being forced to be in a wheelchair, joining a club that goes out of business, and his family being in one part of England while he was playing rugby in Ireland, and now he's in France and he's got a house in Lauder. I mean, it was very sensitive interview, and I was most impressed with his attitude to life. Another interview that really impressed me and says so much about the community that is rugby was the interview that we had with Marion Romerell. Now, Marion Romerell is not from Hawick. She is actually English and is connected with the Tynedale Rugby Club. And she came to work in Hawick as a primary school teacher at Trinity, and where she coached with Bill McLaren, funnily enough. But she had a really unfortunate accident which she broke her back. So she spent the rest of her life confined to a wheelchair. She carried on teaching at Trinity in a wheelchair, and she moved to primary school in Gala, which meant that she coached and taught boys who played for Gala and played for Hawick. And one story that she told me was that after a Hawick Gala game, they all disappeared off to Hergey's when it was in the middle of Gala, and the place was actually heaving with people, and they couldn't get a wheelchair through the door. And Enzo, Keith Scott, and a Gala player came and swept the crowd aside, and they wheeled Marion into the bar. And on another occasion, when she was at Riverside Park, she was sitting down below the bar, and all the players, and rugby players are rather tall, and if you're sitting in a wheelchair, you barely come up to their waists. And one Hawick forward lifted Marion out of a wheelchair and put her on the bar so that she would be at the same level as the players. And Marion came up and she said, that was an absolute wonderful experience because they saw me as Marion and not that lady in a wheelchair. Now, I'll never forget that particular comment because it says so much about rugby and the camaraderie and the spirit between not just players of the same side but with opponents as well.
Really enjoyed talking to Murray Watson and of course Ian Landell's co-editing that book and involving over 170 people involved with Hawick Rugby Club. I can tell you that Stuart's-Melville have extended that lead to 3 penalties now. Kane getting another one, 9-0. We'll no doubt return very shortly to Hugh Brown at pitchside.
This is Rugby Radio. Rugby Radio.
Borders College is your local community college with qualifications recognised and valued by employers. To find out more, visit borderscollege.ac.uk today. Borders College, regionally focused, globally engaged.
Based in Galashiels but covering the whole region and beyond, Borders Mortgage Hub is your one-stop shop for all things mortgage related in the Borders. Visit us at bordersmortgagehub.com or call us on 01896 807 008. That's 01896 807 008. Borders Mortgage Hub. Mortgages for the Borders in the Borders.
Borders water, Borders barley and Borders people. That's what makes the Borders Distillery. Working exclusively with local farmers, the Borders Distillery is bringing whiskey making back to the region. Our award-winning distillery is open to everyone, where you can meet the people behind the scenes, explore our wash house and shop quality local products. Tour your local distillery and discover the spirit of the Borders. Full details at thebordersdistillery.com. Always enjoy our spirit responsibly. Under 18s must be accompanied by an adult when visiting the Borders Distillery.
Your pet deserves the best, and that's why your pet deserves the care and treatment offered by Border Vets. We focus on delivering the very best care to each and every one of our patients and clients. We get to know you and your pet and offer treatments tailored to every animal's individual needs, from our conveniently located surgeries in Galashiels, Selkirk and Earlston. Ask about our Pet Health Club for your cat or dog, giving you peace of mind by spreading the cost of vaccinations, regular checks and more. From dental care to travelling abroad and the whole range of veterinary services, bordervets.co.uk is where you'll find everything you need to know. Border Vets, where your pets are part of our family.
This is Rugby Radio, brought to you by Borders College.
Yes, indeed. 9-0 is the score here. I think we can go down to Hugh Brown, get some meat on the bones there.
It is 9-0. 3 penalties, as you mentioned, by Jamie Kane separate the teams, and Stuart's-Melville very much in the ascendancy in this first half at the moment. The digital scoreboard showing just about 33 minutes played in this first half. and Stewmel have been pushing the Berwick line all the way, and for a while, there were huge gaps in the Berwick defence that you could have driven a bus through, and it looks as though they may well pay the penalty for that, if you'll pardon the pun. But at the moment, it's very much the Reds who are in the lead at the moment. 3 penalties I mentioned with Jamie Kane separating the teams. It is Stewart's-Melville 9, Berwick 0.
Thank you, Hugh. And I noticed there's a number 24 on there who's not on my sheet, so I'm sure you're going to be going and put a word in the ear of Alex Haggart and find out who that person is before he scores a try. So we'll rejoin Hugh probably at half-time. 9-0 though to Stewmel. We can go back to Golden Acre, and Sam Matthews waiting for us there.
25 minutes played here at Golden Acre, and the score currently sits Heriots 14, Kelso 5. A try from each winger for Heriots. Paul Christie following the first one by Harry Hitchens. Kenta Kutsuna converting both. The second one much more difficult, just inside the touchline here underneath the stand. Kelso have had one try this afternoon though through Terry Logan, making up for the lack of Bruce McNeil with the old pick and go. However, Dwayne Patterson did miss the conversion from quite far out. Score currently sits Heriots 14, Kelso 5.
GHA 10, Gala 10. It's Itsy Pixie over there in National 1. In National 2, it's Falkirk 8, Newton Stewart with a third penalty. Puts them in the lead. 8-9 there. Close one at Sunnyside. Stewmel 9, Berwick 0 here, although Berwick do have a defensive scrum at the moment 5 metres out. Stirling County, the first to get a try bonus this afternoon over at Bridge Hall. It's 26-0 against Aberdeen Grammar, so that's good news for both Stewmel and for Berwick. Aberdeen Grammar currently 9th in the table. Boroughmuir 15, Dumfries 5 in National 3, and Howe Fife have taken the lead at Hamilton. It's Hamilton 10, Howe Fife 14. Oh, good to hear that one again. We haven't heard that for a while. One of Hugh Brown's favourites from Leo Sayer, and a song called Heart, and it's Rugby Radio. 2:40 is the time, just coming to the closing stages of the first half between Stewmel and Berwick here. No tries, but 9-0 to Stewmel. 3 penalties from Jamie Kane, separating the two sides at the moment. But as you would expect at the bottom of the table with a clash like this, it's been very, very close indeed. Latest scores we have for you: Heriots Blues 14, Kelso 8. Dwayne Patterson penalty has added to the Logan try, so 14 points to 8. The only 2 o'clock kickoff in the Premiership. GHA 10, Gala 10 is a latest score in National 1. National 2, Falkirk 8, Newton Stewart 9 is a latest score. Stewmel 9, Berwick 0, and Stirling County 26, Aberdeen Grammar 0. Boroughmuir have got the try bonus in National 3. They now lead Dumfries 22 points to 5, and it's Hamilton 10, Howe Fife 21. That brings you up to date with the latest 2 o'clock kickoffs, and I'm sure they'll be going half time very, very shortly. A cluster of Premiership games kicking off at 3 o'clock as well. We'll be bringing some detail on them very, very shortly, but let's go to Riverside Park. It's Jed Forrest playing Curry, and reporting on this one is Andrew Fleming.
Yes, welcome to a bright but chilly Riverside Park as Jed Forrest welcome Curry. The hosts are still searching for that elusive first victory of the Premiership season, and will take spirit from their first half performance at Edinburgh Accies last weekend, which saw them trail by just 7 points at the interval before being outplayed in the second half. The Jed supporters will be hoping for a similar performance to their last home game, which saw their team push the then league leaders Marr all the way before eventually losing out by 10 points. Curry come into today's match after being given a scare by Selkirk at Millennium, but came out on top by 40 points to 36. The Edinburgh side really need a win today to keep tabs on Hawick and Marr, who meet at Mansfield this afternoon. Jed are able to name an unchanged forwards pack from last weekend. The 3 changes from the starting 15 come in the back line. Gary Monroe comes into scrum half, Gregor Young returns at 13, while Owen Cranston returns at fullback. The home side are also able to name a full bench this week, which includes the welcome return of powerful second row Gregor Law. It's Jed Forrest versus Curry, kick-off here at Riverside. Is it 3 o'clock?
Well, in National 1, GHK have a home match against Melrose today. GHK at the bottom of the table, but have posted a couple of good wins at home this season. Today they welcome Melrose, who are on a winning streak at the moment. Their coach is Ian Chisholm.
We know that they're at the bottom of the table, but traditionally over the last few years, Melrose have had a really good performance followed up by a really poor performance, and while there was a lot of focus and a lot of praise around their attack at the weekend, I think it was our defence and our ability to manage your half that allowed us to go away and do that. So those are the key messages going into this week, is around continue to manage our half, continue to make good decisions, continue to transfer pressure to them, and when we get an opportunity, let's make sure we take them. And while it was a 40 points to 10 scoreline against GHA, we had maybe 6 or 7 line breaks that we didn't convert. We had a few 5-metre line outs that we didn't convert, and then again we missed a few kicks at goal as well, which for me would have stacked the scoreline up even more. But we're not taking anything for granted. GHK are they're a different team at home than they are away. They seem to pick up results and pick up points when they're at home too. So we're going up there looking to just validate the points and validate last week's performance by getting better at the things that we did really well and seeing how many moments we can stay in system to allow us to really come to life.
That's Ian Chisholm, head coach of Melrose. And here at Inverleith, Berwick 0, Stewmel 9. Stewmel the home team, of course, but Berwick have, they had a chance there to get the ball over with 5 metres to the line. This could be the last chance. In fact, the Berwick pack are moving forward. They're over the line. Have they managed to touch it down? Referee's taking a good look there. We've got Darren Goodfellow involved, and also Melrose. It's you can hear by the cheer though of the local crowd that's been held up, and there won't be long to go in this game, but Berwick certainly giving as good as they got. It's still 9-0, and that will be a goal line dropout. Well, of course, Ayr are playing bigger today, and let's have a quick word with Grant Anderson, who's the head coach.
We're looking to make sure that we're keeping our performance levels as high, if not higher, than they were last Saturday. It's about developing a squad understanding for me, kind of a shared vision of where we want to be, where we see ourselves and how we want to be playing week on, week out. It needs to be consistent for me, and that's the biggest thing. I think consistency with your selections in terms of what guys are doing when they come in, consistency about your structure and attack and D, that then builds some momentum. So I'm looking to see the same performance, if not, go one better. And we're looking forward to the game. It should be a physical battle that we'll enjoy.
Grant Anderson from air there as the referee's whistle blows, I think, for half-time here at Inverleith. So let's go back down to pitch sides and bring in Hugh Brown.
Yes, indeed, Stuart, it is. Stuart's-Melville 9, Berwick 0 at half-time. Berwick have it all to do in the second half if they don't want to remain rooted to the foot of National League Division 2. 3 penalties from the boot of Jamie Kane is the difference between the teams. And really, Berwick have not looked as strong as the home side. The home side have dominated this first half for long periods and have sat very much rooted to the Berwick try line. The only time that Berwick had a chance was, as you mentioned a couple of minutes ago, just before the interval, when from a line out they were just 5 metres from the try line, but unfortunately it was held up. The referee was watching very carefully, and so that one didn't unfortunately bring any points for Berwick. So at the moment the men from Scremerston have it all to do in the second half. As I mentioned, they are needing the points desperately as they sit at the bottom of National League Division 2. 40 minutes left in this game now, but at half time it is Stuart's-Melville 9, Berwick 0.
I stumble in the night, never really knew what it would have been like. You were no longer there to break my fall. The heartache over you, I gave it everything but I couldn't get through. I never saw the signs. You're the last to know when love is blind. On the tears and the turbulent years when I would not wait for no one. In the stop, take a look at myself, see me losing you. For you
The BJ is playing on Rugby Radio, 2:50 on a Saturday afternoon, and we can go pitchside now because we mentioned earlier that Julian and Simon Scott were having their special lunch today, and Hugh Brown's got them with him now.
Yes, I have indeed, Stuart, and they've both finished their lunch now. Thankfully, they've managed to join me here pitchside as the game gets underway again here at Inverleith. Simon and Julian, it's lovely to see you. The reason that you're here and you've been given this special lunch is you've been awarded retrospective caps by Scottish Rugby for the game that you played in, for Scotland in May 1986. How do you feel about that, Simon?
Absolutely fantastic. A dream has come true because we knew that game was a big game. We were playing France in France, and the reason they didn't give caps was because the following week was the cup final for the French, and so those players were not available, and so the French decided not to give caps, and as a result Scotland didn't either. So 37 years later they've reviewed that and decided to award a cap to us, and it's a dream come true.
Julian, you must be really excited about that because you must have thought you were a bit shortchanged in 1986 not getting a cap.
Well, absolutely. I think, you get very few opportunities in your life to reach your potential, and both Simon and I were both hungry for representing Scotland at some stage, and we thought the chance had gone, and years go by and it never leaves your thought process that what if, and just to get a phone call to actually confirm that game deservedly got the cap that we achieved was unbelievable. It was just fantastic.
And Simon, you played alongside some of the Scottish greats at that time with John Jeffrey, John Beattie and Peter Dodds amongst many. How did that feel?
Wonderful. They were, in fact, that particular team, we had several British Lions in the game. Our back five was full of, it was back row basically. We had two number 8s at second row, Derek White and Ian Paxton, and we had John Jeffrey, John Beattie and Derek Turnbull in the back row. So lots of world-class players in the Scotland team, and against all odds we drew with the French. We could have beaten them, as it turned out. It was a draw, but we were so much underdogs on that particular day. We'd just been beaten badly the week before by a Basque select, and so to come back and against all odds manage to do the Thistle proud, and we drew with them. Yeah.
I suppose you could say, Julian, you never lost wearing a Scotland shirt.
Yes, I've got, well, not 100% record. Yeah, I never won either. But yeah, it was just a magnificent team effort. It was, to be fair, they had such class players and guys that we had grown up just watching on telly thinking, my God, to get the opportunity to play them and actually go toe-to-toe with them was fantastic. And they pelted us for the last 20 minutes, but our defence was absolutely magnificent, and yeah, to come away with a draw was super special.
You must feel very proud today, Simon, having been awarded this special lunch by your former team, Stewart's-Melville.
Yes, and it's a total surprise as well because Jim and Finn, who I grew up from primary school with, Jim and Finn Calder, have arranged this, and I got presented today by a great friend Alec Brewster, who also we met at school. So it's not just rugby friends, it's school friends and they're lifelong friends. And to have my family here today, which of course if I'd been capped in '86, none of them would have been born, and so I had my 3 children and my 4 grandchildren and all that. Wonderful.
I can tell your former team are doing well. They've scored another try since the break and converted it, so it's Stewart's-Melville 16, Berwick 0 at the moment here at Inverleith. You must have thought the chances of you getting a cap, Julian, were completely over. 37 years have gone by.
Oh yes, as I said before, you try and put it to the back of your mind. Well, at the time I was playing well. That was actually probably the start of my good phase in my career, and I played for Edinburgh for a few years after. But I was up against the likes of Gary Armstrong and Roy Laidlaw, and so it wasn't easy. But I probably came of age on that tour, and it gave me a lot of confidence. But yes, I got, like Simon, who got super close. I got close to getting a cap, but unfortunately in those days it was there was too much better competition, unfortunately. So yeah, but happy days.
Have you had the cap yet? Have you got it yet?
No, apparently we're going to get it in the captain's run before one of the Six Nations matches at Murrayfield next year.
That'll be really exciting too.
Yeah, I look forward to that. Yeah.
Simon and Julian, thank you very much indeed for joining me. I'm glad you enjoyed the lunch. I'm glad we finally got hold of you. It's nice to chat to you. Enjoy your day at Murrayfield in the spring at the Six Nations when you get that cap finally after 37 years. Simon and Julian Scott, retrospective caps for Scotland. That's absolutely brilliant, Stuart.
Thank you very much indeed to the boys down there who are absolutely chuffed to bits with that decision from the Scottish Rugby Union, and Hugh Brown talking to them there. Well, just before we go to the big match, which is coming up at 3 o'clock, let's go over to Philip Hoch. David Ferguson is there. It's Selkirk today playing against Glasgow Hawks. And come in, David.
Welcome to sunny Philip Hall this afternoon, where we have Selkirk hosting Glasgow Hawks, two teams in the basement area of the Premiership at the moment. Selkirk with just 15 points, won 2 this season but lost 8 from their 10 games. Glasgow Hawks have found themselves third bottom with a bit of an up and down start to the season. They've won 3, they've lost 5, and Hawks are coming down to Selkirk with both teams talking about how they need to improve the first 20 minutes after defeats last week, where they played fairly well as the game went on, but they weren't so good at the start of the game. Glasgow Hawks, Lewis Stewart and Ryan Howie back into the team into the back row. They will strengthen the Hawks this afternoon, while Selkirk have Andrew McComb back in the starting lineup at number 10, Ben Pickles moving to centre, and Blake Cullen moving on to the wing. Jamie Turnbull takes his place on the bench after recovering from injury, and Finlay Whelans is also available this week, and he starts as a replacement. As I say, very sunny here over Philip Hoch. Both teams at the moment warming up on the pitch as I speak. We're looking for a very exciting encounter. Both teams know how to score, but both teams also have problems with keeping their defences tight and stopping the opposition. So I expect plenty scores here this afternoon and some tries to entertain the crowd at Philip Hoch. Starting at 3 o'clock, we'll have Selkirk against Glasgow Hawks.
David Ferguson predicts a lot of scores at Philippa. We'll see if he's right. I can tell you that Herrick's Blues have got their bonus point, 24-8 against Kelso now. GHA 10, Gala 15, Falkirk 15, Newton Stewart 21 now, Stewmel 16, Berwick 0 here. Jamie Sword, the captain, getting the try for Berwick, converted by Jamie Kane, who's been immaculate with the boot today. Stirling County 33, Aberdeen Grammar 7 is the latest score, and in Division 3, Boroughmuir 43, Dumfries 5. Also Hamilton 10, Howe 521 is a latest score. Well, we're not far away from kick-off now in our big commentary match this afternoon between Hawick and Marr. So let's go back down there. Your commentary team this afternoon is Stuart Johnson and, first of all, Robin Purdie.
Thank you very much, Stuart. Well, so with a minute or so to go until kick-off, it does not get any better than this as far as Scottish club rugby is concerned. It's first against second in the Premiership, and this game could go a long way to deciding who is a home semi-final in the playoffs, and also who is most likely to host the final by finishing top of the pile in the regular season. Hawick have lost only 3 rugby matches. Yes, that is 3 since February 2022, but all of those have been against Marr. However, those 3 losses were at Fullerton, and Hawick are unbeaten here at Mansfield now in over 4 years. So we have got a cracker in store for you today. Looking at the teams for Hawick, Kirk Ford's at 15, Ronan McKean and Charlie Welsh are on the wings, Lee Armstrong and Andrew Mitchell at 12 and 13, Kyle Brunton's at 10 with Declan Lightfoot at 9, Captain Sean Muir, Russell Anderson and Nicky Littlepack down in the front row. The locks are Dalton Redpath and Connor Sutherland, with a back row of Stuart Graham, Callum Rennick and Jay Linton. For Marr, Callum Ingalls is at full back. The wings are Jake Jacobson and Scott Bickerstaff. Captain Connor Bickerstaff and Gregor Paxton are in the midfield, with Colin Sturgeon and Grant Baird at 9 and 10. Brandon Sweet, Stuart Reekie and Ali Rogers are the front row. The middle row is David Andrew and Cameron Young, with Callum Smith, Ben Johnson and Blair Jardine forming the back row. Policing this one for us today is David Young, with Ian Hurd and Charles Sampson as the assistants. And with me in the commentary box today is a man that's worn all the hats in the club game, if you like. Over 250 games for Melrose as a player, head coach at Melrose and Gala, plus a short stint here and now a referee. So good afternoon to Stuart Johnson. Stuart, this is a first v second. Naturally, it's a tough one to call.
Yeah, it's really tough. If you have a look at the league table, both teams of these should be in the top 4 come the end of the season, but it's a big one for each team in terms of confidence going into that.
It certainly is, as we await Marr. Hawick are out on the field here, and here come Marr now in their purple attire, led out by Connor Bickerstaff, the captain. He and his brother are men on form at the moment. Scott with a hat-trick last week against Heriots. Connor with a try in a great all-round performance by all accounts. The referees are now on the pitch as well, and we are going to have a minute's silence for the armistice of the 11th of November 1918.
Earlier this afternoon, as part of our 150th commemoration, we unveiled a seat in memory of the many Void players and members who gave their lives in the two great conflicts of last century. The work of the talented local craftsman Bernie Armstrong is well worth a look just at the steps up into the car park before we leave today. So we'll now have a minute's silence in remembrance of those men who fell and lie today far from Bonnie TV Tale. They shall grow not old, as we who are left grow old. Age shall not weary them, nor the years condemn. At the going down of the sun, and in the morning, we will remember them.
The minute's silence perfectly observed here at Mansfield for this top of the table clash. Hawick 1 point in front of their visitors. Hawick looked very intent in their warm-up, it has to be said. Marr a wee bit of a curtailed warm-up. Their bus didn't arrive here until about 2:15, so they've been put through their paces quickly, and it's going to be Marr to kick off. They're going to attack the club room's end here at Mansfield. Marr in their purple strips, all purple, yellow trim. Hawick in their traditional green, of course, and here we go. Bickerstaff gets it underway, palmed back by Dalton Redpath and taken in by Stuart Graham. The blindside flanker set up the rack, and it's been fired out there to Russell Anderson, the hooker. Fraser Rennick injured, of course, but Anderson, a very decent replacement. The ex-Southern Knights man. The first box kick of the afternoon has gone up by Declan Lightfoot. Played well last week up at Glasgow, and that ricocheted off the face of Stuart Graham, so a second touch for him, and Hawick still in possession. Charlie Welsh in playing scrum half, the youngster, but no, the referee's going to bring them back for a touch of crossing. So it's going to be the first scrum of the afternoon. Marr it will be to feed. Grant Baird, highly experienced scrum half for Marr. Another on the park this afternoon who is Super Rugby experience. Played 7 games for Ayrshire Bulls in the Sprint Series earlier this season. So Marr scrum. Just over a minute gone here, still 0-0. The scrum, it's around 10 metres in from the stand side. It's on the Hawick 10 metre line. So the first coming together of the afternoon for the two front rows. And the first scrum that's gone to ground. We'll hopefully not see too many of those, and we'll bring Stuart in. And Stuart, the forward battle here is going to be key, and arguably the two top number 8s in the division are going to go head to head today as well.
Yeah, massive of both parks. I mean, if you look at the just about park times for scrum here, like Hawick have got Russell Anderson, Sean Muir and Nicky Little have all got pro experience, and Marr as well, an experienced front row. And then, as you say, the two number 8s, two big boys, will go at it all day today, so should be an interesting battle.
Yeah, whoever comes out on top in the number 8 battle, it could go a long way to determining the outcome of this one, and that's a solid scrum. But Hawick have got a wee bit of a shunter. It's picked up at the base there, and there's a wee bit of a skirmish off the ball, but Marr in possession, and it's into the hands of Ingles. Ingles, who's come in for Montgomery today, as their coach said, Kenny Diffendall pre-game, just to add a bit of zip, but the ball has been held onto too long as Marr attempted to attack there, and the first penalty of the afternoon is awarded the way of Hawick, and naturally Kirkford has sent that to the touchline, and that's a decent first punt of the afternoon as well, Stuart.
Yeah, that's a great nudge by Kirk, right on the edge of the 22, so it'll give Hawick a really good platform here off the line out. You'd imagine they'll probably go to the maul, have a go at the Marr forwards and try and get another penalty out of it.
Indeed, the line out will be the first throw of the afternoon for Russell Anderson. He's taking the instruction from Sean Muir, his captain, who's come over. This line out taking place right on the Marr 22, over on the banking side. So Anderson, there was a bit of a feint in there. The communication just got a little bit wrong as he attempted to find Stuart Graham in the middle, and Marr have taken what was a free kick. They've taken it quickly, and it's Sturgeon. Sturgeon shows a little bit of footwork, takes him past the first man, and Marr are now maybe 15 metres out with the 22. There looked like a wee bit of crossing in there, but nothing doing, says the referee. So Marr still in possession here. They're up towards the Hawick 10 metre line. It's the first box kick from Marr of the afternoon. That's gone straight up into the Hawick sky and straight down, and some good acrobatics there by Charlie Welsh it was to palm it back. So Hawick now in possession, albeit back in their own half. Welsh is still holding it on, and he's being dragged by the scruff of his jersey from the Marr players, and it's out to Anderson again from Lightfoot, and Anderson wins the contact. Lightfoot at the bottom of this, again tetchy stuff so far, as you'd imagine. Top V second in what's being played out in front of what's now a decent crowd. Come in the turnstiles and out through the bar, and another box kick from Lightfoot, and again it was palmed back by Charlie Welsh, but there's a little half break on there by Baird, the scrum half, pumping his legs, still going. Now he's at the bottom of that, so Ingles comes into play scrum half. Bickerstaff, that's Connor Bickerstaff, out to another Marr player. That was Gregor Paxton, but Gregor Paxton's spilled that, and chance goes a begging. That was in the breadbasket.
Yeah, you could see Marr there trying to go wide, and it was just unfortunate that Gregor Paxton just took his eyes off the ball before he caught it and knocked it on, which gives Hawick the ball back.
Does indeed. So Hawick will have a scrum here from the knock on. Lightfoot, it will be defeat. They're maybe 3 metres inside the Marr half. They've got a blind side here as well, Hawick. It's a reasonably decent attacking platform. They'll be looking to exert their authority in the scrum, an area where they went pretty well last week at Balgray against Glasgow Hawks in what was a pretty professional performance. Ball comes in, that's a solid scrum. Just starting to move forward a wee bit though, as the crowd will probably tell you it's Hawick that are nudging it, and the penalty has come the way of Hawick. So second penalty conceded, and Stuart, this could be right on the edge of the range for Kirkford potentially.
Yeah, you'd put your house on Kirkford having a go at this, and probably getting the 3 points. To be fair, he's been on great form from the boot all season. But I'll take that back.
Yeah, curse of that's the first curse of the commentator for you, Stuart. Don't worry, it happens to the best of us, as Kirkford nudges it down the touchline, and again it's another decent effort by the Premiership's top point scorer this season by quite some distance. Kirkford 153 points. Closest to him is Marr's Colin Sturgeon, he's bang on 100. Kirkford added tries to his game this season as well. He's on 7 for the campaign so far. He's already nearly surpassed his points tally for last season, and that lineout's more successful for Hawick. And there's a Callum Rennick's tried to break off the back of the maul and try to sort of release the pass inside, and that's gone forward. So the attack from Hawick comes to nothing. But I think the Hawick coaching staff will be pretty pleased with how it's panned out so far. We were 7 minutes in. Yes, it's still 0-0, but most of what's happened that's been good has been done by Hawick.
Yeah, Hawick have had a lot of possession, and as you said, 2 penalties, both gone to the corner, so it shows their intent there to go to the line out and go to that maul and try and put some pressure on Marr. Marr, to be fair, have been defending really well. That was some really good defence in the corner there, which just kept Hawick out. And as you say, Callum Rennick unfortunately passing the ball forward, which gives Marr the ball back. But it's a difficult exit from here for them.
It is. They're 10 metres maybe inside the Hawick 22. The Hawick scrum was dominant the last time, so we'll see what happens here. But no, that's better from Marr, and that's enabled their star number 8, Blair Jardine, to pick up, and he's beat the first man, and he's made 10 metres. Jardine, good carry, good opening salvo from him. Now it's the winger, Jake Jacobson, the slight figure. He's got a bit of pace. He now sets it up. Baird the scrum half at the base of this. That's been carried in there by one of the Marr forwards. So there's another ruck, and again it looks like Baird is shaping a kick. Yeah, and he puts the left foot through it. Welsh is underneath it, and he's done pretty well to keep that in field. Welsh has gone back to Kirkford, but Kirkford's a little bit isolated at the moment. But no, the Hawick forwards have got back and got round. Good play by Hawick there. Now it's to Sean Muir, his first trundle, wins the collision. Lightfoot to Brunton. Brunton juggles it but maintains possession. Connor Sutherland, the latest Hawick forward, to truck it up. Now Brunton's seen a wee bit of space, but no, that's been closed down the space pretty quickly by Callum Ingalls, the fullback, and he's returned it with interest into Hawick 22. Brunton catches it, sends it to the touch line, so it will be a Marr line out just inside the Hawick half. Remains 0-0 here at Mansfield. There's 9 minutes gone. So Marr forwards having a chat about what's to happen here. Struan Reekie, the hooker, his first pressure situation of the afternoon. Bit of movement in the middle of that line out, and he plays it safe and goes to Cameron Young at the front, the ex-airman. Now Marr looking to attack through first phase. Good tackle on Connor Sutherland, Connor Bickerstaff, however, I beg your pardon. There's a hit in the midfield there by Andrew Mitchell. The ball had gone loose, but it was taken back in there. Now the referee's blown for a above the sternum tackle by Hawick, so the first penalty conceded by them to Marr's 2. And yeah, Kenny Diffenthal, the coach, Stuart spoke about bringing in the fullback Ingalls in place of Greg Montgomery, and Ingalls has looked busy early on.
Yeah, he has. That was a really good carry in the midfield there, and it was lucky that he's probably won a penalty. But you can see Marr again using some big runners in the midfield to try and get some go forward, and they're trying to get to that edge, to that touchline, to stretch Hawick.
They are. And speaking of, we spoke earlier on about Kirkford's touch finders from the penalty. There's been a decent effort there by Scott Bickerstaff. It's normally he who comes forward to take them instead of Sturgeon, and the line out, however, has gone over the intended jumper, which was taken in by Blair Jardine at the tail. So this will give Marr the opportunity to come round the corner, first in the shape of Ben Young, 130th appearance for the Troon men this afternoon, and Connor Bickerstaff. It goes out to Ingalls. Scott Bickerstaff cuts in from his wing, double tackle on him, one of which was by Redpath of Hawick. Sturgeon. Now there's a flat pass on here and a wee bit of space opening up. Now that's a high looking tackle. It was a flailing arm rather than the tackle by Hawick, and the referee is playing advantage here. So Connor Bickerstaff, it's been lost, but they're going to come back for the flailing arm challenge, and this, Stuart's an imminently kickable penalty for Marr inside the Hawick 22, and you'd imagine Sturgeon will step up, and yeah, referee's already signalling for the post.
Yeah, look, top two battle. You're going to take points when they're on offer, and again, you would imagine that Marr will be 3-0 up after this kick. It's in a fairly straightforward position for Marr.
For a marksman of Sturgeon's calibre, as mentioned, he's the second top point scorer in the league this season. He was top point scorer in the regular season last season before the playoffs. He's second, a distant 53 points behind Kirkford, but this should be meat and drink to Sturgeon as he begins his run up, and he makes no mistake. So first blood to Marr in this one. It's a penalty by Colin Sturgeon. Hawick 0, Marr 3, 12 minutes gone.
Thank you very much to Robin and Stuart down there at Hawick against Marr. Some latest scores for you. Herrick's Blues 31, Kelso 20, Jed Forest 0, Curry 10, Ayr 0, Bigger 10, and GHA 17, Gala 36, also Watsonian 7, Highland 0, in National 2.
Good looking result for Gala through there in Glasgow. The kick-off's been taken here at Mansfield though, and Hawick are back in possession. Kirkford inside his own half. Marr defence coming to close him down, so he decides to grab it, but it ricochets of a Marr shin, and Hawick are in retreat here, but Lee Armstrong's mopped up. He tried the footwork, but his sort of feet gave out from underneath him, so Stuart Graham, the latest Hawick forward, to try and establish a platform. Now there's a carry here, and that's a good offload as well by Nicky Little out to Dalton Redpath. Clean ruck possession coming the way of Hawick here. Brunton's seen a wee bit of space, however he sent it straight in the arms of the covering Jake Jacobson, and Jacobson's the latest Marr player to send it into the Hawick sky. Oh, good footwork there in receipt of the kick from Welsh, and now there's a left-footed kick being put through there by Ford, but again it's been well marshalled by Bickerstaff on that other wing, and that's gone straight up in the sky with no distance as well. So taken in again by a Hawick player. A lot of aerial ping pong happening at the moment. On halfway, Mitchell out to Lee Armstrong. Armstrong draws a couple, feeds it to Graham. Graham's got Jay Linton. Jay Linton bounces off one of the Marr players, almost spilt the ball but managed to gather it back in, and Hawick are up to the 22. Linton goes to deck, and that enables Lightfoot to pick it up, but he's well harried by the Marr players there, so he himself has to go to ground. So Lee Armstrong's come in for the scrum half duties. That goes to Connor Sutherland. Connor Sutherland head down again, wins the collision with Ben Johnson. Decent spell of Hawick play here, but there's a counter ruck on by Marr, and the referee seems happy enough with that, and the ball has got lost in a pile of bodies there, but there's an infringement by Hawick, and the penalty goes the way of Marr, and there's a lot of good work in there by Hawick. Stuart, first meaningful carry for Jay Linton, but it's all come to nothing.
Yeah, really good carry by Jay Linton down the touchline, and then they were in a really good position just on the edge of the 15, and unfortunately for Hawick they were just too slow to get the ball away from the base of the ruck, and Marr saw the opportunity, counter-rucked, and have won themselves a penalty to get themselves back probably up towards the halfway again.
Yeah, Scott Bickerstaff it will be to send it towards the touchline, and he's given it a decent old thump there actually. Ian Hurd running the line on this near side has signalled that the throw will be taken inside the Hawick 22, so that's a decent net gain for Marr. So second or third throw in of the afternoon for Marr, and it's again nice and neat and tidy. Brandon Sweet, the latest to carry up for Marr, the big Zimbabwean prop. Now it's out to Sturgeon. Sturgeon's got Jacobson. Jacobson sells a dummy, then passes it out. Ingles again. Ingles taken by Callum Rennick. Some of the Marr players asking the referee about a slightly high tackle there, but not happening. But here come Marr again. They've recycled possession. Callum Smith, the ex Wigton Sherman, signed in the summer, and that's been spilled by Marr and taken in by a Hawick player. So Hawick now in possession, and it's sent back to Ford, and Marr's players are in retreat here, but Ford sent the kick out on the full, and no, the referee's going to take them back for no advantage coming Hawick's way, and wee bit of a collector's item there, Stuart, a mistake by Ford.
Yeah, I know, and he's probably pretty lucky there to get the scrum, because it's usually advantage over once you kick the ball away, so a bit fortunate.
Yeah, I'd be inclined to agree, but all that matters is what David Young, today's man in the middle, thinks about it, and it's going to be a Hawick scrum, centre field on their own 10 metre line. Again, a decent attacking position. We've got plenty real estate either side of the scrum here as we await the front rows coming together. Don't seem to be any particular hurry, but the call now is to bind. So, about to be fed by Declan Lightfoot, but Marr with a shunt on that time, so it's picked up at the base by Linton, and now it's out to Lee Armstrong. Lee Armstrong as he so often does, beats men, beats players with footwork, and he finds a rampaging Andrew Mitchell, and Andrew Mitchell's round the last man, up and over the 22, and for the 11th time in 11 games, Andrew Mitchell has scored.
Yeah, really good carry by Lee Armstrong there, and a great offload to Mitchell, and as you say, Mitchell doing what he does best, and rounding the fullback and under the posts.
Great centre partnership work there, wasn't it? It was out of nothing, really. Wonderful play by Lee Armstrong, and that's really what he brings. He does it day in, week in, week out. It's that footwork, that elusive footwork that, just buys him that bit of space.
Yeah, look, he's brought all his experience there from all his years playing here, and then he's got Mitchell on his outside with a bit of youth and a bit of pace and some power. And to be fair on Mitchell, a bit of footwork to round the fullback. So great try for Hawick.
Yeah, very good finish by that man Andrew Mitchell, right under the sticks, which, as you'd expect, means that 5 has been turned into 7. Kirkford with his first successful kick of the afternoon, so all of a sudden Hawick, from being 3-0 down with around 19 minutes gone here, now have their first try in the bag and lead by 7 points to 3. And yeah, Lee Armstrong, we've spoken a lot in the early part of the season about having a big jersey to fill in the shape of Ethan Riley, who was a star performer for Hawick, but it's been a timely return to rugby in Hawick for Armstrong to fill that jersey, and he's filling it with aplomb so far, but the kick-off's been spilled by Hawick, gathered in by one of the Marr forwards, so Marr now with a chance to attack inside the Hawick half. It's Baird out to Ali Rogers, the Burley prop in the Marr ranks, back with Baird. He feeds it out to Sturgeon to Connor Bickerstaff. Connor Bickerstaff's gathered in there by Dalton Redpath. Now it's back with Sturgeon to Ingalls. That's been spilled by the Marr hooker, but it's gone backwards, so Marr are going to have to reset here, maybe 5 or 6 metres back from where they were previously. But that's a tidy kick there by the scrum half Baird, and that's going to result in a Hawick line out inside the Marr, or a Hawick line out inside their own 22 rather. 20 minutes gone here. It's Hawick 7, Marr 3. Russell Anderson it will be to throw in. Looks like Hawick have reduced the numbers here. Looks like it's going to be a 4-man line out. Sean Muir once again coming over to Anderson to tell him where he's to throw it. Here it comes. Yeah, and they play it safe. Go at the front to Sutherland. Sutherland off the top. And now there's a carry on here for Rennick, and Rennick's up and over the gain line. Good strong carry by the Hawick open side, and there's a wee bit of space opened up here for Hawick if they can use it. There are numbers on the near side, but it's been spilled forward there by Lightfoot. So now Marr with a wee bit of space that they can exploit over on the far side. It's Connor Bickerstaff with a dummy scissors, kept hold of it, popped it in there and took it on, fed his brother in the end, Scott Bickerstaff. But now it's going to come back to the open side. Ben Johnson scored in the win against Curry a few weeks back down at Fullerton. Now they've got another big forward coming at pace here. That's David Andrew, the ex-Dumfries Saint, but he's been pretty well tackled in the midfield there. Patient play here though from Marr. Ingalls again to the other second row. That's Cameron Young. Cameron Young's well tackled though, but they're up and into the Hawick 22 here, Marr. So Baird, green wall forms across the width of the park. Good tackle on Blair Jardine after he tried to pirouette. And there's Hawick bodies in there, but they've got hand to Hawick, and it's been spilled forward, so there's a knock-on advantage being played here. And again, Ali Rogers trucks it up, the Marr prop, and it's out the back door to Sturgeon, and Sturgeon's fed Gregor Paxton. Gregor Paxton the latest to take it to deck. Now it's back in the hands of David Andrew. Andrew stopped in his tracks by the Hawick defence once again though. Marr back outside the 22. Double tackle there. One of the tacklers was Dalton Redpath. The referee's going to bring them back for what looks like another Hawick penalty conceded. Sean Muir's going over for a chat with the referee.
Going first, Sean. Thanks. For me, it was at the same time, and you've not made enough to get low. That's 3. Okay. None of them's been any more than a penalty, but that's 3. Okay.
So clear and concise communication there by the referee. Stuart, he's saying three tackles that are above the sternum.
Yeah, it's just the new tackle laws for this season. If it's anything above the sternum, it's a penalty. And Hawick have now, as the referees rightly said, had 3. So just have a little chat, and Sean Muir goes back and has a chat with all the boys. Just say let's lower the tackle height. Stop giving probably easy penalties away.
Yeah, it's penalties at the moment. There are the concession of Hawick penalties that are allowing Marr to continue to build a foothold in this game, and they'll be looking to extend their 3 points here to 6 because the penalty was conceded in a kickable position, 15 metres in from the far touchline here, 5 metres outside the 22, so fairly routine stuff, one would imagine, for Colin Sturgeon as he eyes up the posts, begins his run up, strikes it, looks decent from here, straight through the middle, so the deficit is reduced. It's now Hawick 7, Marr 6, a couple of penalties to Colin Sturgeon. 23 minutes of this first half gone, and Stuart, it's as nip and tuck as we thought it might be.
Yeah, as we said at the start of the game, it was always going to be a tight game, and one try to Hawick and 2 penalties to Marr, 7-6 with 20 minutes gone.
The Hawick try by Andrew Mitchell, 11 from 11 for him this season. He's already eclipsed the 9 he scored last season. It's been kicked off, and it's been taken in by the number 8 Blair Jardine, just inside the Marr 22. So Marr looking to exit here. Baird looks like he's shaping a kick, the left foot, and he does exactly that. Another high hanging box kick, and it's well taken in there by Jay Linton, and Jay Linton, as he always seems to do, bumps off the first couple of players and sets up a platform for Hawick, and there's a bit of space on this near side. Armstrong again. Armstrong sees a bit of a gap, and he's gone through it, and he's up into the 22, Lee Armstrong, and he's stayed on his feet, and that's good support play by one of the Hawick forwards, Callum Rennick. Good clear out as well, so Hawick now numbers on this near side. It's flung out to Charlie Welsh, and with the line at his mercy, 6 metres out, the ball has been spilled. It wasn't the most sympathetic of passes, I would say, in fairness to him, but there was an advantage being played. Marr have conceded a penalty this time. The referee looking for a mark from his assistant. Offside is the call, so they're going to come back, and Hawick will see that. Stuart, as a try-scoring opportunity coughed up, I would suggest.
Yeah, that should be 5 points, if not 7. Yeah, it was a difficult pass for Charlie Welsh to take, but I think someone of his calibre should be taking that and scoring in the corner.
Yeah, he had the line at his mercy, and you'd have fancied him to.
But it's 5 metres out with nobody in front of him.
Yeah.
Kyle Brunton will be a bit disappointed in his pass, but again, Hawick have turned down the opportunity for 3 points, and they've gone to the corner.
They have, and it was a very kickable penalty for Kirkford, but he's put it 5 metres from the Hawick line as the Hawick forwards trudge towards the line out. You imagine, Stuart, as we seem to say every time we see Hawick, that there'll be one particular tactic employed here, but let's see what happens. The throw in first of all is over the tail, and it's been taken in by a Marr player, so that's come to nothing. It was Ben Johnson of Marr who flopped on it after the overthrow. So Marr now looking to exit from deep inside their own territory. The Hawick chances gone a begging for now at least. Marr, they've picked and gone there. It's not particularly clean. They'll need to think about doing something with it, but they don't need to bother because Hawick have conceded a cheap penalty. And Stuart, you've done a fair bit of head coaching at your time. That's not what a head coach wants to see. That gives Marr the chance just to easily exit.
Yeah, I'm not sure if that's a tactic by Hawick or not to go to the corner, but they've turned down 2, if not 3 kickable penalties now, and to go to the corner, have a look at them all, and each time it's not come off, and I hope it doesn't come back to bite them at the end of the game. 13 and a half
minutes to go in the first half. Hawick 7, Marr 6. Marr have cleared the touch. It's going to be a line out as the sun breaks through the clouds on this lovely autumnal day. Here in the grey old tune, there's not much grey about it at the moment. Marr have taken that in. It wasn't the cleanest of line outs, but they've managed to keep hold of possession, and there was Almost an interception there. Callum Rennick thought about it, but now there's a bit of space for Marr on the near side, but Callum Ingalls takes it back into the heavy traffic. He's been busy so far in this first half, Ingalls. Marr, they're going to recycle this. Not particularly quick possession, but it's back with Connor Bickerstaff. Connor Bickerstaff's well tackled there by Kyle Brunton, not shirking his defensive duties there, and that's all a bit of a girdle by Marr, and they've knocked it on. That's poor play by the men from Fullerton. So Hawick now in possession, and Sean Muir hits it up. A couple of Marr defenders in on him. Now it's out the back door to Charlie Welsh, and Charlie Welsh has fed it out to Kirk Ford. Ford comes back in field. He's stopped in his tracks, so Dalton Redpath takes it off him and straightens. Now out to Nicky Little, and Nicky Little is allowed to get up a head of steam. Back with Lightfoot. Brunton to Callum Rennick again, who's been busy in the last 10 minutes. Back with Brunton. Now it's with Stuart Graham, the ever industrious Stuart Graham. Jay Linton's in there to support and help secure the ball. There's Marr player in over that, and that for all the world looks like a penalty, but no, play is going to continue, and Sean Muir again wins a collision, and it's back with Brunton. Brunton's got Nicky Little charging up in the midfield. Back with Brunton. Brunton's put a little grubble over the top, and it's on for Hawick here, and it bounces the rugby ball, evades them, taken in by a Marr player. I think that was a captain's innings by Connor Bickerstaff. If that had bounced the other way, it was into Andrew Mitchell's breadbasket, and he was under the sticks for try number 2. But nevertheless, Marr now are in possession 5 metres from the Hawick line, looking to exit once again. Hawick were looking not to concede a penalty as they did a few minutes ago in a similar situation. This time Baird doesn't go at the box, he tries to send it long, but he's not found touch. So Hawick, Charlie Welsh it is, and Charlie Welsh is beating the first man. Scragged by the jersey, but round the corner comes Armstrong. Armstrong's got Jay Linton for support. Linton loitering in the wide channels where he can do so much damage. Sean Muir it is who takes it in, goes route 1. Hawick now just outside the Marr 22, but it's been dropped by Nicky Little. So once again Marr will look to clear the lines. Goes back to Connor Bickerstaff, and he's the latest to try a little chip over the top. That's bounced into a Hawick hand. So back it is now with Ronan McKean, possibly his first involvement in the game for McKean, and good harrying again there by Sturgeon, and there's another knock on there by Hawick right on halfway, and Stuart, that's good defence from the men in purple.
Really good defence by Marr. You can just see the line speed coming up and putting the pressure on Hawick. Nicky Little, unlike him, dropping the ball, but when you've got a couple of purple jerseys running at you at full pelt, it's hard to keep hold of the ball. And then I think it was Sean Muir as well dropping the ball there, which is unlike him. And you can see Hawick have lost 40 metres there.
Yeah, 40 metres, and there's a break in play for an injury here. It's Hawick 7, Marr 6.
Okay, let's bring you up to date with some events happening here, and it's just ended. Berwick against Stuart's-Melville. This is a match played at Inverleith, 24 points to 3, a win for Stu-Mel. We'll have a full report at half-time here of that match. Now, latest we have is Heriots Blues 31, Kelso 27. So at the moment, Kelso on 2 points bonuses. Jed Forest 0, Curry 17, Musselburgh 19, Edinburgh Accies 7. Selkirk 7, Glasgow Hawks 7 is a latest score. Into Division 1, Ayr 19, Biggar 10, GHA 17, Gala 39, GHK 0, Melrose 10, Watsonian 7, Highland 0. Into Division 2, and Falkirk involved in another high scoring game this week. Falkirk 27, Newton Stewart 49, so the league leaders losing that one. Stirling County 47, Aberdeen Grammar 21. In Division 3, it's Boroughmuir 76, Dumfries 12, and Hamilton 10, Howe Fife 21.
And back here at Mansfield, there was a Marr scrum right on halfway. Wasn't the best play on the back of the scrum, and it's enabled Hawick to sort of find their way upfield with a series of sort of fly hacks and what have you. And it's all, after all of that, it's resulted in a Hawick penalty 5 metres from the Marr line. It's been taken quickly. They've not gone to touch this time. It's Jay Linton. Jay Linton's been well tackled there, though. They tried to run a move. And again, Marr trying to make a mess of it at the breakdown, so it's back to Sean Muir to tidy it up. They're 6 or 7 metres from the Marr line here. Hawick, light foot, out the back to Brunton, and it's another scrappy pass from Brunton. It's gone behind the intended recipient, so Kirk Ford's had to mop it up, but Ford's now finds himself on the ground 5 metres outside their own 22, and the impetus a wee bit is lost there, so Stuart Graham takes it into the contact. Hawick trying to set it up again here. Lightfoot's got Anderson. Anderson cuts out the back door from Anderson to Lee Armstrong. Lee Armstrong does well to stay in field. Now it's back with Lightfoot to Nicky Little, looking to make amends for his recent knock-on. Takes it to ground, back to Lightfoot. Now Dalton Red past the latest to release the hands. Goes to nobody, but it does go backwards, so it's mopped up by his second row partner, Connor Sutherland. And it's back with Sean Muir. Sean Muir's grown into this game. Plenty carries so far for the big captain, but Hawick still out with the 22, and out they go here to Andrew Mitchell. Mitchell has found McKean over on that far side. McKean cuts back in field and goes to ground right on the 22, so Hawick looking for a scrum half. Brunton it is who goes in and plays it, and now it's back with Sutherland again, and Sutherland goes to Jay Linton, and Jay Linton pirouettes out the tackle and buys another couple of metres and allows the forwards to get round. Lightfoot, Brunton, and it's been dropped again by Hawick, and they're just looking a wee bit out of sorts at the moment. Is that their own doing, or are Marr forcing them into these errors?
I think it's a mixture of both, to be honest. If you look at Marr, they're really pressing, especially that Hawick midfield when Hawick are trying to go wide, and it's forcing errors. But again, Hawick have got to be more accurate here. If they just take another metre deep, they could probably get that ball through the hands quite easily, get to the edge and really stretch Marr, like they've done a couple of times with Jay Linton and Ronan McKean on the far side there.
Just a quick dive in here to tell you that at Golden Acre it's Herits Blues 31, Kelso 32, a Keith Melbourne try just at the death.
My word, that is quite the scoreline from Golden Acre. What a result that would be for the Poynter Park man if it stays like that until the death. Players just taking on fluids here as there's a running repair to Ronan McKean over on that far side, but he is good to go. So the scrum will set shortly. There's around 6 minutes remaining here at Mansfield. Glorious Mansfield as it is this afternoon. Hawick 7, Marr 6 for Marr. A couple of penalties to Colin Sturgeon. Great Hawick try by Andrew Mitchell, converted by Kirk Ford. The Mitchell finish, a result of some wonderful work by his centre partner Lee Armstrong. But it's going to be a Marr head and feed to this scrum after scrappy Hawick play in the midfield. No, the referee's going to make them reset. Nicky Little, hands on hips, in no mad rush it would seem. Neither is the Marr front row, to be fair, as they crouch down. Hawick coaches looking on with interest, as is Fraser Rennick. He looks like a man that's itching to be out there, the injured hooker. He'd be in his element in the middle of that scrum. We've got a wee bit of a shunt on, but yeah, it's picked up swiftly by Blair Jardine, and it's fed out to the Marr backs, and Jake Jacobson sends it down the Mansfield Park to Welsh. That's Charlie Welsh. He's returned it to the 22, but comfortable enough for Ingles. Ingles takes it out with the 22 and sends it down the middle of the field, and Kirk Ford is right underneath this, and Ford looks like he's going to have a run back. He feeds it out to Brunton. Brunton goes to McKean. McKean's got Mitchell outside him, takes a couple of Marr players to haul the big winger down. Of course, the scorer of arguably the most famous try ever seen here at Mansfield, last season's Premiership final against Currie. Big crowd on that occasion, and there's a big crowd here at Mansfield today as well. And Hawick, again, a wee bit of indecision in the play. It's not gone forward, but Stuart Graham, as he's done on more than one occasion this afternoon, has had to mop things up and straighten things out. Now it goes to Sean Muir again, and Sean Muir again up towards halfway, takes a couple of Marr players to drag him down. Now Hawick again out the backs, flat pass there, far too flat by Lee Armstrong. It's gone forward, but there was an advantage being played from a Hawick perspective, the penalty advantage at that, so they're possibly going to get away with just a little bit more sloppy play there, Stuart. It's very unlike them.
Yeah, it's really unlike Hawick here. They're just getting put under pressure and passes are going behind, they're knocking balls on. Is it the game pressure getting to them, or
I was just going to ask you that. Again, you've been involved in huge games as a player for Melrose and big games as a head coach as well. I'd imagine the pressure can't not have an impact.
Yeah, it'll definitely have an impact, but I keep coming back to Marr's line speed. Being caught offside there, just trying to get that line speed on and putting the Hawick defence on the back foot, which they've been doing well for 35 minutes.
So the penalty's been awarded to Hawick right on halfway, pretty much centre field. So with the clock inching towards halfway, in half time, Kirkford is going to have a crack at the sticks from halfway. You'd imagine it'll be on the edge of his range here, but there's not a breath of wind at Mansfield. Be a decent one if he gets it, Kirkford, but if anybody's going to get it, you'd imagine it'll be him. So strikes it, and he's given it a decent clout. It's heading towards the post, and would you believe it, it lands on the bar and flops over. And Stuart, it was a brave decision to go for the post, but that decision's been vindicated.
Yeah, look, I think Hawick have maybe learnt the lessons from the whole of this first half, that you take the points when they're on offer, and Kirkford stood up, he's put his foot through that, and with millimetres to spare has got it over.
Yeah, with just under 2 minutes remaining in the half, Kirkford extends Hawick's lead to Hawick 10, Marr 6. A little bit more daylight between the teams in what's been a pretty even first half. And again, Stuart Graham mops things up, but it's been stolen by a Marr player. That's Blair Jarden. That's great play in the breakdown there. Great piece of scavenging by the ex-Carrick man. So Marr now looking to attack here, 10 metres outside the Hawick 22, and there's another big carry in there by that man Blair Jarden. We spoke before about his battle with Jay Linton and how key that could be this afternoon. Colin Sturgeon fancies a dart just about to the 22, but Hawick now the latest to concede a penalty and make that their 5th of the afternoon so far, and it's right in front, 3-4 metres outside the Hawick 22. So Stuart, for all the world, the 3 points, the 3 point gain for Hawick's just about to be wiped out.
Yeah, and it just comes back to what I said. Marr, every time they get opportunities to take points, they've took the points in this first half, whereas Hawick will be going in at half time, and I think Matty Douglas will be having a word about taking points when on offer, because if they had taken points, they wouldn't be probably 1 point ahead going into half time.
Yeah, as the clock creeps towards the 40-minute mark, it's got the feel now of a game that's not going to be blessed with ample tries as we await Sturgeon's effort. Begins his run up. The ex-captain strikes it well and makes no mistake, as you'd expect. So the third penalty of the afternoon goes the way of Colin Sturgeon. That takes the scoreline to Hawick 10, Marr 9. Bit of life left in this first half, it would seem. David Young, there's been a couple of slight injuries, so Kirkford will resume proceedings. The Hawick fullback, and he's gone long with it into the Marr 22. It's taken in there by Scott Bickerstaff. Scott Bickerstaff puffs the chest out and runs headlong into the contact, sets it up just inside his own 22. Baird, the scrum half. Baird to the hooker. Stuart Struan-Reekie, he's up and over the 22 now. Baird's in there. Baird's going to go to his number 8, Jarden. The workhorse that is Jarden. Again, in and around the 22, Marr, their own 22. Ben Johnson with the headgear. Johnson's tackled there by Connor Sutherland. Now it goes back to Sturgeon. Sturgeon's had enough of this first half, as has the referee now. So it's as tight as you could possibly imagine here. It's been nip and tuck, arguably one for the purists. It is half time here at Mansfield. Hawick 10, Marr 9.
Oh, exciting stuff down there at Mansfield Park. Well, it's ended here at Inverleith. It was Stewart's-Melville getting the win by 26 points to 3 against Berwick, and Hugh Brown is with Jamie Sword and Colin Young.
I'm with the skipper of the Stewart's-Melville team, Jamie Sword. Jamie, a good win for you in the end.
Yeah, fantastic win in the end. We're absolutely delighted with it. We had a good result last week, and we spoke all week about building momentum throughout the rest of the season. Now that we've turned that corner, we're on the reverse fixtures, and I think we put a really good statement out today for the rest of the year.
Yes, in fact, when the two teams met in the first game of the season, of course, it was a draw down at Scremerston, so you've certainly turned the tables on Berwick today.
Yeah, absolutely, and I think it was actually a very similar game down there. Berwick, a very aggressive side that will never say die, and I think we saw that today. We had to work minute 1 to minute 80, and all credit to them. They played some really lovely rugby, probably left a few scores out there, maybe flattered our defence a little bit, but yeah, always an entertaining fixture, and we were glad to get over the line.
Do you think you'll rue the 3 points you've been deducted for the Falkirk game, not being able to field a team?
I think it's all about how we adapt to it. We know what the situation was with that game in terms of our injury list, and we know that it's an uphill struggle, and we're not going to make any excuses about it. Those points have been deducted, they're not going to come back, and for us it's how we adapt and how we make amends for those points. And I think if we've taken 9 from the past 3 games, that's shown a real statement of intent about how we go about our business for the rest of the year.
Good to get 2 home wins under your belt too.
Yeah, absolutely. We're privileged to play here on this pitch at this ground with so much history. It was a big day for the club today. We had a big lunch, the Scott brothers getting their retrospective caps, and for us we just want to keep that momentum around the club and just make sure the on-field stuff is rewarding the people that buy into the club so much.
Jamie, thanks for joining me. Well done. Jamie Sword, the captain of Stewart's-Melville, and with me as well down here on the pitch is the head coach of Berwick, Colin Young. Colin, Jamie called Berwick an aggressive side. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, I think we've been fronting up pretty well of late, and like Jamie said, we always try to make teams work hard, don't give anything easily. And again, another day for myself, I would say we've had most of the territory, most of the possession, and we've left scores on the pitch. We're just before half time there, we've got a driving maul with great momentum, and then it stops short of the line, and the referee's been held up, and not blaming anybody, but it's clear to see how it was stopped. And we've been over the line twice today, and last gasp defending has knocked the ball out of our hands as well. So we've left scores out there. We'll go again. We're positive. I could understand if we were in this rut and we wasn't playing well, didn't have chances, but we're playing well. We've got chances. It's just that top 2-inch mentality and a bit of confidence now.
Are you saying that the scoreboard, where you're bottom of the table, isn't actually telling the full story?
Yeah, but I'm going to be biased, but it's definitely that. And even Jamie just walked away saying that we've left scores on the pitch, and we tested their defence for the full 80. So yeah, it's frustrating, but we'll go again.
What have you got next Saturday then?
We've got Stirling County down at Berwick, so again, like Jamie's saying there, they've been targeting a run of games. We were targeting next week as must-win games kind of style, and try and get that momentum. So we'll go again Tuesday, Thursday, and we'll see how we fare next Saturday on our payday.
I was saying to Paul that you don't want a repeat of last year's final game at Pennypit Park where you really had to win. You don't want that. You've got to win games to try and get off that bottom spot.
Yeah, that's very true. We're still on people's shirt tails down there, and everybody's fighting for it. But yeah, we don't want the grudge match on the last day of the season.
Definitely not. Well, it wasn't a good day for you today, but hopefully better things to come next Saturday. Colin, thanks for joining me.
Thanks you, cheers.
Head coach of Berwick, Colin Young. Back to you, Stuart.
Thank you, Hugh Brown, for his work here at the touchline. It's beginning to cloud over a little bit now, and the sun's beginning to go down. We'll have the new lights on at Mansfield Park shortly. Don't forget, we'll have second half commentary of that coming up. Hawick 10, Marr 9 in the top of the table clash. It can't be much closer than that. Andrew Mitchell scoring the only try of the game so far. Heriots Blues against Kelso happened about a mile away at Golden Acre. It's all over there now, and we can join Sam Matthews.
Heartbreak at Golden Acre, full time. Heriots 31, Kelso 32. Keith Melbourne with a try with 2 minutes to go, getting the away side the victory after they've had to claw and scratch their way back in this game at least 3 or 4 times. A 10-try thriller overall. Tries from Paul Christie, Angus Hunter, Kenta Kutsuna, Harry Hitchens, all coming in for Heriots there. Graham Wilson off the bench as well, getting the last try of the afternoon for Heriots, but it wasn't enough. The determination from the men from Poynter Park makes them see out the day. A game where they really were slow to start. They had to come back and get it back. They did that through tries from Terry Logan, Angus Roberts, Dwayne Patterson himself, Frankie Robertson, a penalty and 2 conversions from Patterson, and then, as I said, all capped off by Keith Melbourne away from the stand side at the final act of the game. It seems to be all blowing over now. A few people are very unhappy about something, but a result for Kelso that will see them move above Heriots in the table. Final score at Golden Acre, Heriots 31, Kelso 32.
Sam Matthews at Golden Acre, and he'll no doubt bring us some reaction after the Hawick game from Kelso's point of view there as well. So, latest scores we have: Jed Forest 7, Curry 17. That's a half-time scoreline at the moment. Musselburgh bouncing back from that big defeat against Kelso last week. They've scored 3 tries already. It's Musselburgh 19, Edinburgh Accies 14, 5th against 3rd in that game at Stony Hill. Selkirk 12, Glasgow Hawks 12. Couple of tries by Ross Nixon and Whelans for Selkirk. Lewis Stewart scoring one of the tries from Glasgow Hawks. Into National 2, Ayr have their try bonus. They were 10-0 down, remember. It's 26-15 at the break in that one. That's a 3 o'clock kick-off. Tries by Cameron Rees, Tom Lanny and Angus Troop, and they've just got another one to get a try bonus as well. It's all over in Glasgow. GHA 22, Gala 42, so 5 points for Gala today, winning at GHA, and that is a big result for them because Gala now go above GHA in the table into 4th place. GHK 10, Melrose 15. Now Melrose were 15-0 up in that game, but GHK coming back with a try and conversion and a penalty as well, but that is 2 tries from Melrose so far. And at Mireside, Watsonian 7, Highland 12 is the latest score. We're coming back to Mansfield Park very shortly, half-time over there. Into National 2, Falkirk 27, Newton Stewart 49 is a full-time result, so Falkirk I think probably going to be knocked off their perch today, depending on the last wage result against Kirkcaldy. We've got no information on that one at the moment, but Falkirk getting a try bonus at the end, but not enough to get the full 4 points or 5 points there. But those 5 points go to Newton Stewart in 5th place. That's going to move them up the table, no doubt. Still waiting on Gordonians and Peebles and Lastwade and Kirkcaldy. No information there yet. It ended here. Inverleith, Stewmel 26, Berwick 3. Bad news for Berwick, even more as if they didn't need this. Stirling County 47, but Aberdeen Graham have got a try bonus 28, so it ended 47-28 at Bridge Hall. International 3, Boroughmuir 83, Dumfries 12. That is a big result. Dumfries again leaking a lot of points this week, and Hamilton 10, Howe 521 is the latest. We've got a full-time score. Preston Lodge 47, Cartha Queen's Park 14. Preston Lodge stay at the top of the table. Well, I think we'll go back to Mansfield Park now, where Stuart Johnson and Robin Purdie are there. It's been a very exciting first half, and for full commentary in the second, back to the boys.
Thank you, Stuart. You're right, it was an exciting first half. It wasn't the highest sort of quality of rugby you could say, if you were being candidly honest, but Stuart, we spoke during the half that this is a pressure game, and I'm sure either of these teams wouldn't give a monkeys about the quality, quite honestly, if they come away with 4 or 5 points.
Yeah, sometimes you just go into a game and you just need to get a win, and as you can see, 10-9 at half time, both teams will be very disappointed in their first half performance, but at the end of the day, it's whoever comes out with this result will put them in a better position in the league, and a bit of confidence going into probably playoffs, you would imagine.
Yeah, and I would imagine both coaches or both camps would say that we're still too early to be talking like this, but you look at this game, and to me there is a feel of almost winner takes all for finishing top and giving yourself the best chance of a home final, never mind a home semi.
Yeah, if you look at both teams are really consistent in the league. Hawick on the back of eight wins, Marr obviously a shock result last week, the week before, but they're the two consistent teams in the league, so you'd imagine both these teams will be in the top 4 come the end of the season. You just look at some of the other results in the Premiership going down the league. Kelso beating Heriots, Curry got beat a couple of weeks ago, so there's a lot to play underneath these two teams, but certainly you would imagine this will be 1 and 2 in the league.
Yeah, it's certainly looking that way at the moment. Marr now are back on the paddock. They're going to attack away from the club rooms in this second half. Hawick will attack the club room's end. We just await the men in green. Possibly some words to be said, a possible frank discussion, you would imagine, but for all that they huffed and puffed in the first half, Hawick, they still are in the lead, let's not forget, 10 points to 9. One try in the bag as well, and what a cracker it was from Andrew Mitchell after wonderful play by his centre partner Lee Armstrong, who you have to say has been a revelation back in the green jersey this season. His return to rugby. Lee Armstrong was actually, believe it or not, National 2 Player of the Season for Hawick YM back in 2011. Stuart, so that's how long he's been on the scene. Scored last week against Glasgow Hawks. As we await kick-off here, and it'll be Hawick to start this second half. A few spectators dotted around on the banking at the far side. So Ford sends it into the 22 and it's been allowed to bounce, and it's gone forward by Marr. Yet indecision in the Marr ranks. It was left, I think, by Blair Jardine for Scott Bickerstaff. But Bickerstaff wasn't expecting it, and it was allowed to bounce. That enabled the Hawick forwards to get up and in around it, which then caused Marr to knock it on. So almost the ideal result from the kick-off for the green machine. It'll be a scrum. They're 10 metres in from the stand side, just inside the Marr 22, so a really good attacking position from which they can launch something early in the second half. Declan Lightfoot it'll be to feed this. McKean, the big winger, sitting directly behind his standoff Brunton at the moment. Just starting to nudge forward a wee bit the Hawick scrum, and it's just getting up a little bit head of steam as well, and the referee's arm is out as Jay Linton controls it at the base. So Hawick playing with an advantage here. Brunton sells a dummy, puts a little chip in, and that's going to be into the arms of a Marr player, so the referee's going to bring them back. Brunton was playing with a free ball there, so it's going to be a penalty to Hawick. Now, Stuart, we spoke about in the first half about taking the points. This for Ford could be kickable, but no, he's having none of it. He's going into the corner again, Kirk Ford, and statement of intent here from Hawick early in this second half, and it'll be a 5 metre line out. And they had one of these in the first half, Stuart, and the throw didn't go according to plan, but if they're on the money here, you can take a wild guess at what's going to happen.
Yeah, they first of all just need to get this platform right with the line out, and if they get the line out right, they'll set them all up, and judging by that last scrum, Marr could be under a bit of pressure here. But again, you come back to Hawick just need to keep the scoreboard ticking over, I would feel, in this game. Hope they don't rue these 3 points they've been given up.
Yeah, that one was certainly kickable, but as I mentioned, statement of intent, and let's not forget there is a bonus point to be won as well for 4 tries, but of course they'll be looking to just get the win in the bag first, and that has hit its intended target in the middle of the line out, Dalton Redpath, and now the platform is set for Hawick. Marr have spun it right round, but Hawick still in possession here, still in control. It's Russell Anderson now who's peeled off. He's got a wee bit isolated, Anderson, but the support comes round. Lightfoot's at the base. Lightfoot goes out to Stuart Graham, who cuts back in field, still in and around the 5 metre line. And there's a big carry there from Sean Muir, who came at pace, and the referee's arm is out again. So Hawick gambling with house money once again. As Redpath's well tackled there. Lightfoot, Brunton's got Hawick. It was Mitchell coming at pace. Now Redpath's come round the corner again, still playing with a free ball. Lightfoot goes to Brunton. Brunton's looking for runners, found one in the shape of Kirk Ford up towards the line. Kirk Ford, and he offloads to Charlie Welsh, and Charlie Welsh still piling towards the line using his bulk. Ford's going to play scrum half here, goes to Sean Muir. This is Sean Muir territory, tries to twist out of the contact, but he's held up short. So Hawick coming again. Brunton
Out to Armstrong. Armstrong with a flat pass out to Mitchell. Mitchell beats the first man, feeds it to Jay Linton. Jay Linton tackled by his opposite number, Blair Jardine. Try saving effort there, number 8 on number 8. Here they come again, Hawick, this time in the shape of Nicky Little, the latest Hawick forward to run hard into the collision. Brunton again, Brunton with a long looping pass, this time out to Callum Rennick. Callum Rennick straightens, comes back in field, he's going to need support. Armstrong's in there to help. Muir plays scrum half, and not where he's accustomed to, Sean Muir. It wasn't the best pass, but the penalty has come Hawick's way. Where's the referee going to give the mark here? It looks like it's going to be kickable now. There's a Hawick player leaving the field here in some discomfort. We'll just try and see who that is. It's Russell Anderson, the hooker, unfortunately for him. So another ex-Super Rugby hooker comes on for Hawick. They have them in abundance here at Mansfield. Ross Graham will pack down between the experienced props Sean Muir and Nicky Little. Now the penalty's been awarded, and again it's kickable, Stuart, but it looks on this occasion that Hawick are going to favour the scrum.
Yeah, look, if you look at the last scrum, Nicky Little using all his experience and winning a penalty. So again, Hawick just trying to keep the pressure on Marr, but again you come back to it, it's another kickable penalty, and that's probably in the region of about 5 over the course of this game they've turned down, and so far haven't wielded any points off the back of these decisions.
Yeah, do you think part of the mindset is that Marr, for all that Marr have been resolute and they've harried and they've hassled, they've not really offered much in an attacking sense?
Yeah, no, Marr have very rarely been in Hawick's half, and their attack's been poor, but again, Hawick haven't really been clicking in their attack either. So
the scrum's been fed. Hawick looking to get the shunt on here. Linton's got it at the base, but Lightfoot takes it. Lightfoot has Lee Armstrong coming hard. Lightfoot again on. Again the pass goes loose. It's gone backwards, but no, a Marr player has got a boot to it and fly hacked it down towards the 10 metre line. So Hawick have lost 30 to 35 metres there, and are going to have to rebuild from a much deeper position. Jay Linton has just sat a Marr player on his backside. That was Gregor Paxton. He's not the first Paxton, he won't be the last, but that's again resolute defence in there by another Marr player on but a bit of space is opened up for Dalton Redpath, and Dalton Redpath's up and into 22. He's looking for support, he's found it from his scrum half. That's Lightfoot. Hawick now back into the 22. First carry for Graham. That's Ross Graham on now with his brother Stuart. Marr have slowed this down, so it's back with Brunton again. Brunton puts through a grubber, and there's a race on here. Did a Marr player touch it down? The referees the team of officials have had a chat, and no, it's not been, or try certainly not been awarded. It was almost touched down by a Marr player, and again a chance goes a begging. Stuart, was that the right option?
I'm not sure it was the right option, to be honest. I think if they've kept that in the hands, went through another couple of phases, Marr were really stretched on the way back. They had a few front 5 players in amongst the posts marking up against the likes of Lee Armstrong, etc. So,
and was there now, as Marr take the drop out from behind their own line, it goes to Kirkford. Kirkford goes infield to Lee Armstrong. Lee Armstrong takes it up towards the Marr 10 metre line, goes to ground, the support comes in, and it's set back for Lightfoot. Lightfoot, he goes to Linton this time. Linton's got Sutherland. Sutherland senses a bit of space over on that far side, and Hawick have made 3 or 4 metres there. Lightfoot looking for options. Find Redpath again. It was his break who took Hawick up and into that most recent attacking phase, and there's another free ball coming for Hawick here. There's an advantage being played, the penalty advantage, and Brunton has it in the contact. He just looks at the referee and says, yeah, I've had enough, we'll have the penalty, thank you very much. So Stuart, here we go again, another kickable penalty for Hawick. It is 30 metres maybe out, 30 metres out, and slightly to the right of the posts,
and the tee's not coming on by the looks of it. I think they're going to the corner again.
No, the referee has, just as you said that, the referee's indicated that Hawick are going to have a crack at the post, and it had to happen sooner or later because they need to get something from all this possession to make it worthwhile.
Yeah, look, as you said, there's all well and good going for the bonus point try when you've got 3 tries in the bag, but when it's 10-9, top of the table clash, you're in the half constantly turning down 3 points after 3 points. At some point you need to take the 3 points, keep the scoreboard going, and then rebuild to get back in this half. And as we said earlier, it's been all Hawick so far this game. It's all the possession territory has been Hawick and territory for Hawick, but they're just not converting points at the moment.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. Marr have had no possession or territory to speak of at all in this second half. It literally has been all Hawick. But there's a Hawick player down at the moment receiving treatment. 10 minutes gone in the second half. It's Hawick 10, Marr 9. Just trying to see who the Hawick player is. Hawick have already lost.
It's Kirkford.
It's Kirkford, which is not ideal when they have it's not ideal at all, but not ideal when they have a kickable penalty. So you'd imagine if he's not able to take it, he's up and moving across towards the spot. Yeah, he's got the tee in his hand, so he's going to have a crack at it at least. Fancied that Brunton certainly looked interested anyway. He was hovering there or thereabouts.
Yeah, certainly this is within Brunton's range as well, so it's a really good backup if Kirk wasn't able to take it. But
yeah, very decent kicker in his own right, Kyle Brunton, but it's going to be Kirkford, a conversion and a penalty already to his name this afternoon, taking him to 158 points with this kick to come. Hawick 10, Marr 9. Ford eyeing up the posts, begins the run up, strikes it, over it goes. The crowd are happy, the assistants' flags are raised. That takes things out to Hawick 13, Marr 9 in the balance of play. Stuart, that's a deserved 3 points, certainly in the second half.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I mean, Hawick will be happy with that. They've now got a 4-point lead. Marr haven't looked like scoring, so Marr are going to need at least a couple of penalties to take the lead from Hawick.
And Marr have gone short and high with the kick-off in an attempt to give their forwards a chance to get underneath it, but it's been taken in by the Hawick forwards. Now looks like Ben Scott is on for Hawick, his second game in the green jersey for the youngster, and there was a kick that was almost gathered in by the onrushing Ronan McKean, and if he'd managed to catch that, there was a situation on there, but it was spilled forward, so Marr is now in possession just outside the Hawick 10-metre line, their first possession of any kind in this second half with 11 minutes gone, and it's their top performer for me this afternoon so far, Blair Jardine, the latest to take it into contact, but the referees deemed that there's been a little knock on in there by the men from Troon, and just nothing going their way at the moment, really, is there?
No, that's unfortunate for Marr because they had numbers over on that far side, but the ref spotted a knock on by Blair Jardine on the deck there as he's carried forward, and as you say, just nothing going Marr's way at the moment.
So it's going to be a Hawick scrum, but again there's a Marr player being tended to this time. 12 or so minutes gone in this second half. Hawick 13, Marr 9.
Just jump in with latest scorelines for you, as we've just heard. Hawick 13, Marr 9. Earlier on, Heriot's Blues 31, Kelso 32. So Kelso going above Heriot's Blues in the table. It's Jed Forest 7, Curry 24. Curry with a try bonus. Musselburgh 24, Edinburgh Accies 14. Musselburgh getting the try bonus this week. And Selkirk 12, Glasgow Hawks 17 is a latest score. It's currently in National 2, Ayr 33, Biggar 15. It's a final result, Dundee 38. Glasgow Accies 47. Final result, GHA 22, Gala 42, GHK 10, Melrose 18, that's the latest score, and Watsonians 10, Highland 12 in National 2. In National 1, should I say. National 2, it ended Falkirk 32, Newton Stewart 49. Lasswade 33, Kirkcaldy 27. That means that Lasswade, I think, will go back to the top of the table with 41 points, next to Falkirk's 37. Stuart's-Melville 26, Berwick 3, Stirling County 47, Aberdeen Grammar 28. Aberdeen Grammar getting a tri-bonus to lift them 1 point above Berwick in the table. In National 3, Boroughmuir 83, Dumfries 12, a final score. Hillhead Jordanhill 27, Allen Glens 25 is a final score, and Preston Lodge 47, Cartha Queen's Park 14 is a final score. And finally into Division 4, Dunfermline 8, North Berwick 10 is a result. Ross High 7, Garnock 88. Strathmore 59, Stewartry 22, and White Craigs 28, Greenock Wanderers 7.
Back here at Mansfield, a penalty has been awarded, conceded by Marr at the scrum. So Kirkford it is, who's sent it to the touch line. It's going to be a Hoyk line out, just inside the Marr 10-metre line. So it'll be a first throw in for the replacement hooker for Hoyk. Hugely experienced Ross Graham, 77th game for Hoyk this afternoon. Second game of the season, played a bit of Super Rugby for Watsonians. Goes to the tail this time, finds his brother Stuart. So Ben Scott. Jay Linton's in the midfield, loitering with intent, trucking it up. Now Scott to come back on the blind side here. Hoyk, Brunton to Ford. Ford cuts back in towards the Marr forwards. It's been set up. The replacement hooker, this time with a carry, Ross Graham. Graham goes to deck. Scott again. There's Marr players in there, but no, they think better of it and leave it. Dummy and go by Lee Armstrong, little half break by the centre up towards the 22 now. Hoyk, all Hoyk so far in this second half, only 3 points to show for it however. Andrew Mitchell, he's all wrapped up by Ben Johnson. The Marr open side, he'll do well to get to ground here, Mitchell, and he's done exactly that. So it's going to come back on the Hoyk side. Scott to his captain, Sean Muir. Sean Muir puts the head down and rumbles forward. Scott again at the base. Now it's out to Lee Armstrong again. Armstrong's sensed a bit of space for Kirkford, and Kirkford's put one over the top here for Ronan McKean, but it was well covered by Grant Baird, the scrum half coming across. But what that means is, however, he's had to run it out into touch Baird in the act of covering, so it's going to be a Hoyk line out, and they're 6 or 7 metres from the Marr line. As mentioned, all Hoyk so far in this second half. They've come out the sheds full of intent, full of purpose, as they look to secure what would be a hugely important victory in the context of this season, the battle for playoff places. And the line-out's taken it, and again it's the Graham 1-2, Ross to Stewart, and they try to drive them all here, but it's gone to ground. So Ross Graham it is that picks up and goes, and they're up and in inside the 5 metre line now. Ben Scott looks one way, then another, fires it out to Stuart Graham. He's been hugely industrious this afternoon, Graham, and he's stolen another metre, and he sets the platform again for Ben Scott. Ben Scott, this time it goes to Ross Graham. Ross Graham driven back a little in the tackle there, but Scott's round, and Scott again looks for runners. Armstrong, and Armstrong's pass was dropped there by Kyle Brunton, and Marr now with a chance to clear their lines. The kick was charged down though, and they're still playing with advantage, it would seem here. Marr still inside their own 22, and it's been set up on that far side, but no, the referee's going to bring them back. And as we've said on more than one occasion this afternoon, Stuart, the Hoyk chances keep going a begging.
Yeah, there's another one in the 22, and it's just that accuracy of pass between and most of the time it's from Kyle Brunton to Lee Armstrong, unfortunately, and another chance goes begging.
So it's going to be a Marr scrum, equidistant between their own try line and their own 22. They're 15 metres in from the banking side here at Mansfield. They've had no ball to speak of in this second half. Very little by way of territory or possession, but Hawick have not been able to punish them so far. It remains a 4-point ball game. It's Hawick 13, Marr 9. 18 and a bit minutes gone in this second half, but there's a blindside break on there by Jardine, but he's scragged by the ankles as he picked up from the base of that scrum. Shaping a kick here, Marr, but no, they decide to take it through the forwards, set it up, come in field slightly and create more of an angle. Grant Baird at the base of this. The left-footed Baird looks like he's going to kick on this occasion, and he does exactly that. That's been taken in though by a Hawick player, but it was already in touch. He thought about the quick throw in, Charlie Welsh, but they're going to come back for the line out. It's going to be a Hawick line out on the Marr 10 metre line. Hawick will be, for me anyway, Stuart, Andrew Mitchell's not seen enough of the ball as a, as an attacking weapon. But this looks like it could be the kind of platform that's absolutely ideal for him.
Yeah, it just comes back to that. It's that accuracy of pass between 10 and 12 that you're not bringing Mitchell into the game. You're not getting Ronan McKean and Charlie Welsh and Kirk Ford into the game as much as they'd want. And for Hawick, that's probably where they're letting themselves down a little bit. If they can sort out that pass between 10-12, bring Mitchell into the game, as you can see in the first half, the only opportunity he's had, he's scored under the post.
So it looks like there's a Marr substitution happening here. Yeah, there's a Marr player leaving the field, and on comes Kyle Valance. Yeah, thought for a minute there that Kirk Ford was off as well, but no, he was just in the technical area taking on fluids. So Kyle Valance is on for Marr for his 115th appearance. He actually retired a couple of years ago after a broken hand, but he made his return against Jed a few weeks back. So Hawick line out has been won. Now it's Dalton Redpath. Big handoff by Redpath on the first Marr player, but he's scragged by a second, but he manages to set it up. Scott has got Sean Muir, takes a couple of Marr defenders to drag him down, and he presents it beautifully. Now Ross Graham, strong carry by him. He's been busy since he came on. Hawick now inside the Marr half, and it's a wraparound again. This time they do bring Mitchell in, but he's pretty well marshalled there. Charlie Welsh tries to create a wee bit of space by going in the outside of Blair Jardine, but Jardine scrags him by the jersey and drags him to the ground. Scott again to Muir tips it on to Sutherland. Hawick now up and in and around the Marr 22. Brunton again. Brunton's got Callum Rennick coming at pace this time. Hard and straight by Rennick. Scott, he's been busy since he came on. Armstrong out to Mitchell this time, and Mitchell's created a wee bit of space for Stuart Graham, and Stuart Graham, who's been all over the place for Hawick this afternoon. That's, I think, his first error of the game, and as you can probably tell by the groans, he's the latest Hawick player to spill a pass that Stuart should have taken.
Yeah, I probably should have taken that man of Stuart Graham's ability, but again, Mitchell will be disappointing in a pass. He's just put it an extra half a yard in front, and it just needed to go into the breadbasket, and you would imagine that Stuart Graham wouldn't be far away from scoring there.
Yeah, he's powerful and he's direct, Graham, and he had maybe 12 metres to go, but knocked on it has been as Marr make another substitution. Callum Ingles is coming to the touchline. He's going to be replaced by Greg Montgomery. That is like for like, one fullback for another. Montgomery actually dropped today in favour of Ingles, but he's into the fray now for his 46th appearance. He's got a couple of tries from his 8 appearances this season. He scored last week against Heriots over there at Fullerton, but it's going to be a Marr scrum inside the Hawick 22, 5 metres in from the far touch line here, as the referee looks to reset this scrum. Just having a chat with the two front rows, telling them what he expects for them for the remainder of this game. There's 17 minutes remaining. Hawick 13, Marr 9. Still all to play for. 1 try in it. Only 4 points, and Hawick will be acutely aware of that. They've had all the possession, all the territory in this second half. Only 3 points to show for it. The second penalty of the afternoon for Kirkford. 2 penalties and a conversion. Try by Andrew Mitchell, who's been underutilised, you have to say, particularly in this second half. And Blair Jardine again picks up at the base, and he's taken to ground, but illegally so by Hawick. And what that does, it just gives Marr that opportunity to exit freely, and they'll be only too happy, Marr, to ping this down the touchline and just try and get some kind of foothold back in this game.
Yeah, as we said, they've had no possession, no terror. I don't even think Marr have been in Hawick's half for the second half, and look, Hawick need to be careful as well, because that's another high tackle that they had a bit of a warning in the first half.
To compound Marr's woes in this second half, they've missed touch, so here come Hawick again. Ford hoofs it into Marr territory, the Marr 22, and there's a bounce of a rugby ball. Again's evaded the Marr cover, and Ronan McKean feeds out to Jay Linton here. Jay Linton's 1-on-1. Jay Linton comes back inside, and he tried to feed a Hawick player, but it was only a Marr player that was in support. I don't know from here if the Marr player gave the shout, but chance goes a begging. He had very little by way of support. Linton, to be fair, he tried to smash his way through the last defender, and he certainly managed to get the hands free, but it came off the Marr player. Just waiting to see which way the line-out's going to go. Yeah, the line-out's going to go the way of Hawick, but there's running repairs, it would seem, to another Marr player. I think it's Greg Montgomery who's just come on. He's looking like he's going to receive a bit of treatment and might have to leave almost as quick as he's entered. So 15 minutes to go here. It's Hawick 13, Marr 9.
Okay, a good time to bring you some more latest scores, and it's Selkirk 19, Glasgow Hawks 20, a tight one at Philip Hawke at the moment. If you've just joined us, Heriots 31, Kelso 32 was the final result from that 2 o'clock kick-off. Currently Jed Forest 7, Curry 24, Musselburgh 24, Enbrackies 21. Musselburgh have currently got the try bonus on that particular match. Ayr 33, Bigger 15 is a latest score at Millbrae. That was a 3 o'clock kick-off. Dundee 38, Glasgow Accies 47, full-time score there. GHA 22, Gala 42, a full-time score. It's GHK 10, Melrose 27. Melrose looking for a hat-trick of wins. And currently a Marr side could be a shock on the cards here. Watsonians 20, Highland 12.
Hawick just about to throw into this line out. Callum Rennick's come off for Hawick. He's been replaced by Fraser Wilson, so you'd imagine that Connor Sutherland will come into the back row and Wilson will slot into the second row. So in the Hawick that's been taken in by Dalton Redpath at the front. They've played it safe there, Hawick, and they're trying to inch forward here, and controlling it at the back is the replacement hooker Ross Graham. Ross Graham's broken off and gone here. He's got a wee bit isolated, so Ben Scott has to come in, and rather than play scrum half, he has to help out, and Hawick player does come in and play scrum half and feeds it to Sean Muir. Sean Muir, umpteen carries for him this afternoon. A little sniping break there for this replacement scrum half. There's a free ball coming for Hawick here. They're about a metre or so short. It was Ben Scott with a little half break there as they inch towards the line in front of what is a sizable crowd at the far end that have come out of the bar, and they've come out of the bar to see a Hawick try. And Stuart, you have to say it's been coming.
Yeah, it's definitely been coming. Hawick there just using their big men up front, going to the maul. Oh, and we've got a bit of afters
There's
here.
a bit of afters there. Certainly Connor Sutherland is the Hawick player involved in what is a shirt pulling, pushing and shoving session. Verbals being exchanged. Oh, and they're still at Andrew Mitchell now's got a hold of Blair Jardine. The try's been scored regardless here. And yeah, this is all panning out in front of those punters at the bar end, who are quite enjoying what they're seeing there, Stuart.
Yeah, definitely. It's probably not the best place for Marr to start a fight in front of the Hawick supporters that have all got a pint in their hand. But
yeah, and as you can probably hear, the try is warmed the cockles of the Hawick supporters in the stand as well, who have just gone up a couple of octaves volume wise. Referees having a chat with the two captains.
No more of that. You know that's what's happening. But listen, honestly, have a word.
Yeah. One thing for me, sir, Marr. Can you watch your tackle slipping up now? I know you're watching us, we're on our last, but they're getting a bit high as well, no?
Yeah,
okay.
16 said now. I've got to let it play.
Sean Muir there, can he stuff from the captain, just reminding the referee, David Young, that there are 2 teams in the game and that the other one might be slipping a bit high with the tackles as well. And in all of that, I can tell you that it was actually Sean Muir, the Hawick captain, who scored the try. So he's up to 6 for the season from 11 games. Quite the strike rate for a prop. 12 minutes to go. It's Hawick 18, Marr 9. Kirkford, conversion attempt to come just inside the 15-metre line here. Just outside the 22. Crowd falls silent. Ford struck it. And he's pulled it to the left of the upright, so it remains 18 points to 9, and that's not something you see every day, Stuart.
No, definitely not. That's unusual for Kirk, but you're just wondering if he's pulled that with his sore leg. And
he looks just sort of getting back into position just a wee bit gingerly there, it has to be said. And again, the Marr kick-off has given their forwards every opportunity, but comes back on the Hawick side, and it's been dropped once again by Sutherland that time and hacked forward. So advantage from the Hawick knock-on has been played, and Hawick have actually had to send it or carry it over the touchline there. So in all of that, it's going to be a Marr line out now, 5 metres from the Hawick line, and no sooner have Hawick scored, they've made a bit of a mess of the kick-off, and they're going to give Marr a chance here in what has been literally their only foray into the Hawick half in this second half. And the line out comes in, and that doesn't look down the middle to me, but I'm a long way away, and the drive's coming on. It's up towards the line on Hawick. Hawick players got in there and stole it. That is remarkable work, and it's the substitute Fraser Wilson. He had no right to take that, but what wonderful play by the youngster, and he's won a watch for his team there. On has been charged down the clearance though, and flopped on by a Hawick player over the line, but the penalty's been awarded to Hawick, and another 10 metres has been conceded as well. A bit of chit chat there. Yeah, the referee gives the what you'd call the international sign of a bit of back chat.
I never called it was out, so
yeah, having a word with one of the Marr players. Kirkford grinning ear to ear, and it's going to be he who's going to try and relieve the pressure, the only bit of pressure that Hawick have experienced in this second half. Decent nudge by Ford up to halfway, and on comes the latest high level Hawick substitute, such as the strength of their squad. It's Tom Hope who's came on, and if Tom Hope can have any sort of intervention like the fellow substitute Fraser Wilson did, then yeah, Hawick fans will be happy enough. That really was great play by the youngster.
Yeah, he's saved Hawick 5, potentially 7 points against them there. He's come through the middle of that maul, stripped it, and then Hawick have won the penalty, and they've got themselves up to halfway.
And you'll know a bit about Wilson from your Gala days, Stuart?
Yeah, Fraser Wilson, he was 17 when I was at Gala, and he was part of the academy, but a really good prospect for Scottish rugby. And
yeah, and he's a big enough lump as well for a lad of that age. The line out's been taken, it's been gathered in, and Hawick are looking to trundle it here. Graham's at the back. He's going to leave it for Ben Scott, and Ben Scott shapes the kick. He's going to drop just outside the Marr 22, so it's going to have to be played here. Jacobson's done pretty well, but that's a good tackle on the scrum half Baird. But Hawick have conceded a penalty there. It was a big hit on the scrum half. I think it was by Lee Armstrong, who's the latest to remonstrate with the referee. Another Hawick player who's a big smile across his face, Lee Armstrong, looks almost perplexed at the decision, but it's going to be a penalty to Marr, irrespective of what Armstrong thinks of it, and that'll give Scott Bickerstaff the chance to send it down the touchline and try and buy some valuable territory and possession for Marr, and this time he does find touch. Ian Hurd gives the mark, and it's about 10 metres outside the Hawick 22. There's 7 minutes on the clock here, 7.5 minutes. It's Hawick 18, Marr 9, and if Marr are going to do something in this game, if they're going to have a chance of victory, they need to do something fairly swiftly, and that's been palmed back off the top, and it's turned out a decent enough ball from the line out. Sturgeon comes out to the outside centre. Paxton, been pretty quiet in the game so far. Paxton, they've not had much ball to speak of, and the other Baird's on at scrum half now. Robbie Baird, the youngster, no relation to his namesake. Marr now 5 metres outside the Hawick 22. Jacobson comes back on the cut, gives it back to Baird. Baird has to take it into the traffic himself. There's a Hawick player over there, but the referees deemed that is another penalty against Hawick, so it's going to be a Marr penalty. 5 or 6 metres outside the 22, 7 metres now maybe where the mark's given. Bang in front. Marr, of course, 9 points behind at the moment. There's a bonus point to be had, of course, by losing by 7 or less. So let's wait and see what they're going to do here. No, Sturgeon's having none of it. He's the goal kicker, and over comes Scott Bickerstaff. So Scott Bickerstaff's going to try and send this into the corner if he can on this near side, the bottom end at Mansfield. Not his best effort, Bickerstaff, actually, and it's going to be, not his best effort at all. And the line out's going to take place maybe a metre inside the Hawick 22 when he was looking for a lot closer to the try line than that. Blair Jardine is going to throw this one in. He's moved from number 8 to hooker, equally as adept in that position. Bit of movement in the middle of the line out, and it's been somehow found its way back. It didn't go to the intended recipient, but Marr have got the ball, and it's Baird at the base. Baird goes to David Andrew, the second row, still outside the 22 mark, looking to dent this Hawick defence that's been resolute so far this afternoon. Marr not really looked like scoring so far, and that was Sturgeon to Connor Bickerstaff coming on the crash, and again he's hit on the gain line. There's just a wee bit more afters happening there. Stuart Graham involved, not for the first time in his career, but he's back in the defensive line now, and it's Marr now inside the 22. Bickerstaff, Connor Bickerstaff, hand off to the face of Connor Sutherland, but perfectly legal. So Baird at the base of this one, and they're just creeping forward, Marr, but Hawick have caught them behind the gain line there, so they're going to have to recycle it. Marr, and here they come again. Oh, that's a big double tackle on the Marr player there. Takes play back at width the 22, but good hands. David Andrew takes it back into the 22, and they're maybe 15, 12 metres maybe from the Hawick line now. That was a decent half break by the second row. Now it's Jardine. Jardine's dragged to ground. Here come Marr, and it's a crash ball there, and they're up towards the 5 metre line. Their first decent passage of play really in this second half, it has to be said, and Callum Folan's on as well, the ex-Melrose man. He's the latest forward to take it up. Baird to Sturgeon, one of the Marr runners there, tackled, so there's a snipe on for Scott Bickerstaff, but he's ankle tapped and goes to ground. Baird to the prop, Brandon Sweet, the ex-Dorking and Boroughmuir Super Series man. Baird again to the other prop, Ali Rogers, another with Super Series experience. Oh, and it's been fumbled, dropped indeed by Marr, but they were playing with a free ball, so say David Young. So another penalty for Marr. We await the mark. It's certainly going to be 10 metres from the Hawick line. He's coming across to getting towards the touchline. What's this going to be, Stuart? It's going to be maybe 17 metres in from touch, and again it's a kickable one. So what are Marr going to do here?
I think Marr will probably go to the corner or the scrum off this and keep the pressure on Hawick. Yes, there's a bonus point in it if they take the 3 points, but I think there's still probably about 6-7 minutes to play, so if they can get a try.
Yeah, referee's just taking the sting out of this as we await.
Yeah, I'm getting treatment, okay? Just have a minute. Yeah, no worries.
So
it's okay.
There's a Hawick player receiving treatment there. It looks like it's Fraser Wilson who's had a bang to his beak by the looks of things.
Still 18-9 then at Hawick at the moment. Here's some other latest scores for you, and it's Jed Forest 7, it's Curry 24, Musselburgh 27, Enbrackies 35. Enbrackies on the comeback trail there, and Selkirk have taken the lead at Philiphaugh. Selkirk 22, Glasgow Hawks 20, a penalty to add to their earlier 3 tries. In National 1, it's Ayr 40, Biggar 15, and GHK 17, Melrose 32, and Watsonians 20, Highland 12. Latest score.
Marr, in all of that, or after all of that, decided to take it quickly. Scott Bickerstaff stuck it up the jumper, and went himself, but he was driven back in the tackle, and there's more afters happening there this time between Scott Bickerstaff and Ross Graham. Never far away. Graham, and another big tackle by a Hawick player has driven another Marr player back. So Marr a wee bit in reverse here. They didn't go to the corner with the penalty, nor did they take the 3 points that were offered that would have got them a bonus point as things stands at the moment. And again a double tackle by Hawick, this time on Callum Folin. So Marr now back outside the 22 when they were 5 metres from the Hawick line with a penalty, and again the Hawick players fly into the tackle. One of those is Jay Linton. Double tackles all over the place at the moment. Marr now find themselves 10 metres outside the 22, but there's a penalty coming their way. More indiscipline from Hawick there. So Marr looking to build time against them here. Graham Dick, the substitute prop, is on for Marr. That's a loose ball there, it's gone to ground. Wee bit indecision by Sturgeon. Now the penalties have been racking up against Hawick here. We're just going to see if this is card worthy. Jay Linton's being called over. Sean Muir is there to see what the outcome of this is going to be.
Ball's well gone. You've tackled him without the ball. Too many.
So Jay Linton's tackled a man without the ball, and he's going to spend the rest of this game on the touchline, the victim of a yellow card. Marr have been awarded the penalty 6 or 7 metres out with the 22, almost right in front, and so this time Colin Sturgeon's going to have a crack at the post. And Stuart, you've sort of grimaced at that. What's your thinking here?
I thought with Jay Linton getting sin-binned there that they would go to the corner and really have a go at that Hawick forward pack down to 7 and try and get a try. And there's probably still about 4 minutes left in this game to then come back up the park and play for a penalty. But
yeah, it's going to be Sturgeon looking for his 4th penalty of the afternoon, which would get Marr in bonus point territory. Sturgeon begins the run up. Looks decent enough from here, and the flags go up. So there's life left in this game as well. Marr 6 points behind. It's Hawick 18, Marr 12. Jay Linton in the bin for Hawick. So on a bit of a knife edge here now at Mansfield, because if Marr were to score a converted try, then they would leave with the spoils.
A quick latest score for you: Musselburgh 34, Enbrackies 35.
It's all happening there by the sounds of things at Stony Hill. It's all happening here at Mansfield as well as we await the kick-off, but there's a Hawick player receiving treatment. I think that looks like Ross Graham, and a bash to the shoulder, but he's making his way back into play. Hawick don't want to lose another hooker, of course, with Russell Anderson looking like he's received a sore one today, on top of Fraser Rennick already being out for a period. So Hawick with an embarrassment of riches. Normally at hooker are looking a wee bit more threadbare now. Kirkford's gone along with that, as you'd expect at this stage in proceedings, taken in by Scott Bickerstaff. Scott Bickerstaff again. More strong defence by Hawick. I think that was Connor Sutherland. Yeah, Connor Sutherland, big tackle. There's been some big shots put in by Hawick players in the last 3 or 4 minutes. But in amongst it all, Marr have got the penalty, which as it stands at the moment would see them leave with a bonus. Now that's not the best clearance by young Robbie Baird. So it's going to be a Hawick line out 10 metres outside the Marr 22 now, and Hawick Stuart potentially maybe looking to eke a penalty out here that'll give Kirkford a shot that'll take the penalty, that take the bonus point back away from Marr.
Yeah, we'll take the bonus point away from Marr, but it'll also probably take the game away from Marr as well if they can get that, because it'll put them 9 points ahead with only a couple of minutes to play. So it really ties the fixture up if they can get a penalty.
It would indeed. Marr, I would imagine Marr be pretty happy to leave with a point, to be honest, because they've not been in this game at all in the second half, particularly in an attacking sense, and Hawick have won the line out. So the driving maul is set up. Graham at the back. The prop Brandon Sweet comes in to try and disrupt it, and I did think he'd come in from the side, and the penalty's coming to Hawick. but a really good half break's been made there by Connor Sutherland, and again another Marr indiscretion, and again there's afters here. Who's involved in that yet? Ross Graham again. We wouldn't have got particularly long odds on that. He's having words with Brandon Sweet, the two front rowers. Graham adjusting his shirt that had been scragged by the big Zimbabwean prop. So Hawick penalty. It's 7 metres in, 8 metres in, maybe from touch. And yet Sean Muir has asked the referee to signal for the post. So it's not the most kickable attempt he's had this afternoon, Stuart, for Kirkford, but the sensible play here is to try and, as you said, take the game away from Marr, and to deprive Marr that bonus point that I think they'd be quite happy with.
Yeah, it takes the bonus point away, it takes the game away as well, but it also winds the clock down by another minute. But
yeah,
it's all, as you quite rightly said, it's actually not far off the same spot that that Kirk missed his conversion for sort of 15 minutes ago, so it's not a guaranteed 3 points.
Yeah, well, the 40 minutes is up according to my watch. We're playing time added here. Kirkford, as mentioned earlier today, the league's top point scorer at this stage of the season by quite some distance, and this would be another important 3 to add to his tally. Silence falls at Mansfield, floodlit Mansfield. Kirkford begins the run up, struck it well. It doesn't need me to tell you what the outcome of that is, because that has dissected the uprights. The crowd are happy. Hawick are out to 21. It's Marr 12. And Stuart, Hawick now very much in the ascendancy, and let's not forget they're playing with a man in the bin.
Yeah, definitely. That 3 points just gives them that breathing space now that they can afford to be a bit more hard at the breakdown, a bit more hard in defence, knowing that 3 points won't, or even 7 points won't win this from Marr.
Two quick latest scores. If I can just quickly give you these ones. It's Jed Forest 7, Curry 31 is the latest score. Selkirk 22, Glasgow Hawks 23.
Hawick still in possession from the kick-off. It was well taken in because, as I mentioned, it was contestable. Young Ben Scott's at the base of this. He sends it down the park with a bit of height on it. Now, has that gone out on the full? Yes, it has. So an error there by the youngster, and they're going to go back for a Marr line out. There's still a bit of life left in this game. The line out's going to take place 3 or 4 metres outside the Hawick 22. Didn't go out by much on the full, but a centimetre or 2 is enough. Ian Hurd, the assistant referee on that far side. Cute line out by Marr, taken reasonably quickly, taken without the need to lift and jump. And again, another strong tackle there on Ali Rogers. But a penalty's been awarded against Hawick here. Now, let's see what the referee.
I'm down. Wrong. Go.
And another yellow card has been issued against Ross Graham. So Hawick, referee indicating there was some kind of tip, I think, in the tackle there, but
yeah, I don't think Ross Graham can have any complaints with that. He's picked up the Marr player, he's put him past the horizontal and drove him into the ground, which is a yellow card.
It's a final score at Riverside Park. Jed Forest 7, Curry 31. And how about this in National 1? Watsonians 27, Highland 12. Latest score.
Big loss that for Highland in their quest to stay on the coattails of Ayr. But Hawick now down to 13 men. You may have heard the referee explain to Connor Sutherland that there's only 30 seconds left. So what Connor Sutherland, the Marr captain, has decided is that Colin Sturgeon is going to have another crack at the posts to get back within that 7-point margin.
And Musselburgh have won. Musselburgh 37, Embrackes 35. Final score.
Big result that for Musselburgh. Back on the horse as Sturgeon begins his run up. Looks decent enough from here, and the assistant referees agree. And as the kick goes over the bar, Marr go up within 7 points, and the referee has brought it to a close. Hawick 21, Marr 15. And Stuart, it's not been a classic. It's been top of the league. It's been a top of the league tetchy affair. No team wants to lose. Are Hawick going to be a little bit disappointed there that Marr are going to leave with a point?
Yeah, I think come Tuesday night it could be a bit of a long video session for the Hawick players and Matty Douglas. I don't think he'll be happy with that performance, especially their inability to convert pressure, territory, possession into points. And as we said, there's the basic handling errors at times, especially in the 22s, let them down. And they've come away with a result. Marr have got a bonus point. Probably should have been out of Marr's hands by half time if Hawick had converted.
Yeah, and Hawick, of course, had all the possession, all the territory. All of the attacking play was done by Hawick in that second half. But they've got 4 points. Let's not forget that is the absolute main thing, and it's against their title. It's against their main title rivals, so it's a great win in that sense. And a bonus point win for Hawick never really looked on the cards, but Marr will leave with a point in a, and they, arguably didn't. I don't know if it's fair to say they didn't deserve to. They certainly gave their all, that's for sure. But I think they'll be pretty pleased.
Yeah, Marr will be the happier team with that. Even though they've lost, they'll be the happier team coming out of that with a bonus point. I say Hawick have got the 4 points. The performance is probably what's the disappointing thing for Hawick there. But as we said at the start of the game, these games you go into it, you can sometimes give the performance as long as you get the 4 points, which Hawick have done. They'll review this, they'll pick up on their errors, they'll work hard, and look, as Hawick always do, I think they'll come back next week, and whoever Hawick play next week could be on the end of a long 80 minutes if Hawick do their homework and click.
So as the players trudge from the field, it is Hawick that emerge the victors in this top of the table clash. It's finished here at Mansfield. Hawick 21, Marr 15.
Thanks to Stuart Johnson and Robin Purdie at Mansfield Park. We'll be joining them again for some reaction, hopefully towards the end of the programme. 4:46 is the time. You listen to Rugby Radio. Here's the full-time scores from the Premiership. We've just heard Hawick 21, Marr 15, Heriots Blues 31, Kelso 32, Jed Forest 7, Curry 31. Musselburgh got up to win at Stony Hill. Musselburgh 37, a Danny Owenson penalty at the death. Edinburgh Accies 35, and the final whistle's just blown at Philip Hawk. Selkirk 27, Glasgow Hawks 23. We can bring you an unofficial table. This is pen and paper without a calculator, but Hawick stay at the top. That's definitely confirmed. 46 points for them. In second, Marr 42 with that last second losing bonus point for them. In third, it's Curry on 37. Edinburgh Accies dropped to fourth. They're on 36. Very congested at the top. Musselburgh 5 points today for them. They're on 34. Kelso move up the table again to 6th place on 30. Heriots Blues drop to 7th with 29, and then it's 8th for Glasgow Hawks 22. Selkirk in 9th position picking up 5 today, 20 points for them, and sadly nothing for Jed Forest. They're still rock bottom with just the 3 points. Remember, of course, the Kelso match earlier on at Golden Acre. Heriots Blues 31, Kelso 32, and Sam Matthews was covering that one for us afterwards. He spoke to Keith Melbourne.
Well, there was only one man I was ever going to interview after a dramatic late try like that. Keith Melbourne, first of all, how are the emotions after claiming that victory today?
Very tired out there. Sunny day as well, big wide pitch. Took absolutely everything, especially I'm knackered. So really good effort from the boys and delighted just to get the win.
Well, you mentioned it there, that sees you move up a place in the Premiership table. How vital is it getting these wins as we now reach the second half of the season?
Yeah, honestly, start of the season it was just game after game, but now we're thinking about every game is trying to get up into that top half and into that top 4 and just see what happens, goes from there. We've 2 really good wins back to back and just want to keep going and see how far we can go.
Well, the story of today's game was definitely Kelso as a side chasing the game, getting close and then seeming to let another try go through. So how do you guys keep doing that when you're constantly back underneath your post? 5 tries today for either side.
Honestly, we spoke about it after the game. It's resilience. We have that in bunches, and it's as you said, it's just trying to stay in the fight, take every scores we can. We've let in a few sloppy scores, but as I said, it's the resilience of the team. We've seen it from last year. and it's carried over to this year. It's a great bunch of lads.
And then Neil Hennigan mentioned on our preview podcast this week you had a lot of young boys playing today. A few of the big senior players like Bruce McNeil notably was out. How was that keeping those young boys motivated when these things are happening on the pitch?
It's a lot quieter out there and Bruce isn't there, to be honest, but the young boys stepped up loads. Ashton, who played with the future team Super 6 last night, came on and put in a great shift. A few of the younger boys that we've had from the start of the season are what's going to keep the club going in a few years, and their leadership, even out there at a young age, is really, really good to see.
And then I can hear the boys singing a victory song now, so I'll let you get back to it. Pleasure, Keith. Well done on the victory.
Thank you very much. Thanks.
Wonderful stuff there from Kelso, winning at the death. Let's go to Philiphaugh now. David Ferguson was at the match between Selkirk and Glasgow Hawks.
We had a dramatic finish here at Philiphaugh as Selkirk came from behind to score a last gasp try from Callum Anderson, fullback, with the last act of the game, and beat Glasgow Hawks by 27 points to 23. We said it was close all the way through, 12-12 at half time. In the second half it was very similar to the first, with the winger, Glasgow Hawks winger Flett, going over for a try just 3 minutes into the second half, and then Selkirk coming back with a try from their skipper Scott McClymont to make it 17-17, and with the conversion by Hugo Alderson it made it 19 points to 17, the first time that Selkirk had led in the game. Then we had a seesaw of penalties, with Wayne Burrows scoring for Glasgow Hawks to put them 20 points to 19 ahead. Alderson coming back with a penalty. He missed the first one from 40 metres. He got another chance just a couple of minutes later and nailed that from about 38 metres out to put Selkirk ahead 22-20, but then Burrows came back with just 5 minutes left on the clock to make it 23 points to 22 to Hawks. Alderson did have another penalty chance just a minute to go and to put Selkirk back into the lead from that route, but he fell just short. It was from 50 metres, a long way out, fell just short of the post, and you thought that might be it for Selkirk, but no, the ball was run out of defence by Glasgow Hawks. They lost it in a halfway, came back into touch from that line out. The last act of the game, as I said, Selkirk managed to move the ball wide, and Callum Anderson found the space to give a pass, then loop round, take the pass back and go into the left hand corner to great roars from the Selkirk support. So it finishes here at Philiphaugh this afternoon with a dramatic climax. Selkirk 27, Glasgow Hawks 23.
Lots of dramatic climaxes. Thank you to David Ferguson. Andrew Fleming's at Riverside Park. Jed Forrest against Currie.
Full time at Riverside Park, and it's a comfortable win for Currie, who run out 31-7 victors. They threatened to run away with it early doors through tries in the opening 20 minutes from Ryan Daly, Sam Leto and Sam Cardozi. Harvey Keith pulled a try back for Jed on the half-hour mark as Currie went in 17-7 up at the break. The home side started brighter in the second half, but their hard work was undone with an interception try from centre Gregor Christie, securing the bonus point in the process. The game turned rather scrappy and ill-tempered as the minutes went by, leading to 4 yellow cards dished out by referee Callum Lazenbane. In the final play, Rhys Davis added gloss in the scoreline with a try under the posts. The Jed will have to pick themselves up yet again, this time for a border derby here next week versus Selkirk. Full time at Riverside, Jed 7, Currie 31.
And we shall be there next week at Riverside Park for that border derby. See if Jed Forrest can get above the 3-point total. Let's go back to Mansfield Park. Robin's got the victorious Hoyt captain Sean Muir with him now.
Well, Sean, thanks for joining us here. That looked like an incredibly hard fought encounter. Is the immediate sense post match that you're pretty happy with 4 points?
Delighted with 4 points. Who says before the game it was win at all costs, a top of the table clash, and happy with the win, but the performance could have been better. I think people watching will see we've left a lot out there. There was a lot of missed opportunities, especially in the second half. We must have dominated territory and possession massively, so there's things to work on, but you can't grumble beating a side like Marr at home.
And I was going to say, you admitted there you've potentially not played your best, but you've beaten your closest rivals as far as the title's concerned, and that's kind of what champion teams do.
Exactly, you need to win these big games. Who lost up there, so we knew we had to even the score down here, and look, they're a big physical side. There'll be some sore bodies tomorrow, but like I say, it's 4 points on the board.
And Marr, of course, they do leave with a point, having seldom entered into your own half for lengthy periods in the game. Does that stick in the craw a wee bit?
Aye, it does. If I'm honest, without sounding disrespectful, it didn't really look like scoring. I think there was one stage in the second half, they tapped penalty and we retained them 5 metres, we retained them 40 metres back. Our defence was outstanding, led by Connor Sutherland. I thought he was immense today. Some of the shots he was putting in was frightening. I'm glad he's in my team, I'll say that. But look, them getting a point's disappointing, but it's not the end of the world. We've got another win.
You have indeed, and Next week, Kelso at Poinder. You put 61 points on them here earlier in the season, but I'm guessing that you feel that that's less likely. They're a different proposition at home.
It's going to be a different story. I think I said to you last week, I think that could be one of our toughest fixtures in the next 4 or 5. Kelso, look, you know what Bruce and Kev Atterson's going to have them riled this week, but we'll match it. We're a border side, we know what to expect down there, but Pointer's a tough place to go, and it's a tough place to go and win, so we need to be at the top of our game. If I'm honest, we'll probably need to be a bit better than we were today to put them away. So no, we'll get excited for it. It's a good place to play. There'll be a big crowd they're on top of you, so it's exciting.
Yeah, well, it's sure to be a border ding-dong down there next Saturday. Congratulations on the win again today, Sean, and we'll no doubt see you next week. Thank you very much.
Cheers, Robin. Thank you.
They were Robin Purdie at Mansfield Park along with Sean Muir there. Full-time result, Ayr 40, Biggar 22. That is a final result which has just come in. We're still waiting on GHK against Melrose. Last we heard it was Melrose winning comfortably with their 32 points to 17. Quickly we'll go to National 2 because Gordonians 20, Peebles 31 was the result today. A big result for Peebles, and we can talk now to Captain Jack Harrison.
We came up to Gordonians hoping for 5 points. We had a couple of strong performances in the last 2 weeks, but we wanted to back that up to put on a bit of pressure in the top of the league. The start of the game, we were sort of dominant in their half. It was good forwards play. We played out of our half quite well through the young 10 Ross Wolverton, who had controlled the game pretty well. In the second half, we had a couple of old players that came on and made a real impact from the bench. Neil Hogarth, the old club captain, and Kenny Clyde. So it was good to see them back on the pitch. And then we managed to. They came back in the second half quite well, but we managed to hold off and close out the game. So we were pleased to hold them out without any bonus points.
There we are, Jack Harrison. Thanks very much indeed for getting that through to us from Aberdeen. Gordonians there losing by 31 points to 20 to Peebles. A great result for Peebles. Also in National 2, Falkirk 32, Newton Stewart 49 is a final score. Lastwade 33, Kirkcaldy 27. Lastwade go back to the top of the table, but Falkirk still have that game in hand. Stuart's-Melville 26, Berwick 3. Seems such a long time ago. It's actually very dark out there at Inverleith at the moment. That's where, of course, where we've been coming from today. Stirling County 47, Aberdeen Grammar 28. That's a full-time result. In National 3, the results were Boroughmuir 83, Dumfries 12, Hamilton 10, Howe 5 45, Hillhead Jordan Hill 27, Allen Glens 25, Orkney 50, West of Scotland 24. They stay unbeaten, and Preston Lodge still top of the table. A win over Cartha Queen's Park by 47 points to 14. And the results now in National 1, we can tell you: Ayr 40, Biggar 22, Dundee 38, Glasgow Accies 47, GHA 22, Gala 42, GHK 17, Melrose 32 is a full-time result confirmed now, and Watsonians 27, Highland 17. So we quickly look at National 1, and the table is Ayr at the top with 48 points, Highland in second, 11 adrift now on 37, Glasgow Accies third with 33 points, Melrose 32 in fourth, Gala move up to fifth, 28 points for them. GHA in sixth now. They drop behind Gala after Gala's win over there. 25 points for them. Seventh, Watsonians 24, and Biggar stay eighth with 17. Dundee ninth with 17, and at the bottom GHK with 13 points. Well, what a day it's been. It's been an hour, 3.5 hours in fact, of live rugby, covering all sorts of games right across the divisions on Rugby Radio. Next week we're going to be at Riverside Park for Jed Forest against Selkirk. We'll also, of course, be at the other derby at Poinder Park, which now seems to be rather interesting, doesn't it, with Kelso playing against Hawick. There's lots of other good games to look forward to as well in the Premiership. Curry will play Musselburgh, Embrackies against Heriot's Blues, and also Marr against Glasgow Hawks in a kind of West Coast derby over there. Also next week in National 1, Dundee against Ayr, Gala against GHK, Glasgow Accies will take on Watsonians, Highland at home to GHA, and Melrose against Biggar. In National 2 next week, it's Aberdeen Grammar against Falkirk, Berwick versus Stirling County, Kirkcaldy against Gordonians, Newton Stewart against Lasswade, and Stirling County against Aberdeen Grammar. Well, thanks very much indeed for the pleasure of company from the Borders Rugby TV and Rugby Radio team. A very good night.